Hey, good morning, traders. Welcome back to another episode of the Pre-Market Playbook here on Benzinga. I'm your host today, Kevin Dubrisky, and I'm covering for the one and only Ryan. So, guys, make sure you hit that like button if you're ready to make some money. We are going to kill it today. We've got some great guests. We have, of course, 13 coming in to help us look at some movers, and we might even have Markets and Mayhem come on as well. So, we've got some great analysis. We're going to see some great trade setups. We're also going to cover some important news articles that affect the market. Good morning, everybody. So, guys, get ready. Pre-market playbook starts right now. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Quantum, Van, Reaching, Brent. Good morning, everybody. Joseph, good morning. Pete, good morning. Guys, I hope you're ready for a great trading day today. Let me know what's your biggest position in your portfolio right now and what are you looking to trade today? Good morning, everybody. Hey, what's up, Pete? ATL, good morning. Jane, hello. Big B's, good morning. Hello. Yes, sir. Bring in the energy, guys. Got to bring the energy when it comes to the market. Every day is a new day. That's right, guys. Good morning. I hope you're ready. We got some good stuff going on. Bitcoin just hit some new all-time highs. Good morning, Buffalo. What's going on? Harley, Cam, guys, good morning. I am so excited for today, guys. Not only because we're here on the best channel out there, but because we're going to find some great setups too. Now, before we do get into some stuff, we do have initial jobless claims and PPI coming out at 8:30. So if you are in any pre-market trades, I would make sure that you're out of those before that 8:30 hits. So guys, good morning, Catherine, James, E-Rock. I hope you guys are ready. So let's get into some articles and what's really moving the market right now. So to get started, the stock market today, the S&P 500, NASDAQ futures, they're sort of standing still right now. Pre-market, they haven't seen much traction. They've only moved 0.05% to the downside at the moment. Deere, D-Local, Applied Materials are all in focus right now because they do have earnings coming up, so we'll cover those as well. And let's get into it, guys. So U.S. stock futures were swinging on Thursday after Wednesday's rally. Futures of major benchmark indices were mixed. So we have some NASDAQ going negative. We have ES trying to push positive. We have the Dow also trying to be a bit more bullish than the rest. There's different things that we have to be aware of in the market. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order directing transportation officials and the Federal Aviation Administration to cut red tape, making it easier and faster for space companies like Blue Origin and ULA to get a license for launching and re-entering their vehicles. Guys, good morning, man. I hope you're all excited. Smash that like button. I want to run up for a new like world record for us, guys. So I'm excited. Meanwhile, Bitcoin trimmed its gains after hitting a fresh all-time high of $124,000, guys. Bitcoin above $124,000 is mind-blowing. What I want to know, guys, do you think Bitcoin has what it takes to hit 150K this year? Or are we going to go reach 100,000 again before 150? Let me know what you think in the comments. Good morning, everybody. We've got some great stuff going on. Here's about the Treasury bond, guys. So the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.22%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.67%. The CME's Group FedWatch tool projection shows markets are pricing in not a 90%, not a 95%, but they're pricing in 100% likelihood of the Federal Reserve cutting the current interest rates on September 17th decision. Guys, we got some crazy things going on this next month or two into the market. But just so you all know, August and September historically have a harder time on the market. So do we have enough volatility? Do we have enough geopolitical and economic factors to help support and push us through that history? Or is history going to repeat itself? We can take a quick look at the Bitcoin chart, guys, just to see that Bitcoin did make that new all-time high sitting over here around 124,533, and it had a big rejection from it currently, right? So we're on our daily candle right here. So something I'd note with something like Bitcoin is, look at this. Every time it tries to make a new high, it's followed by a pullback. So instead of trying to take a breakout, almost like any stock, any investment, we don't want to be buying the highs. We want to wait for a pullback and try to buy near a recent swing. So that's what we would look for. Guys, good morning, everybody. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. It is absolutely free to hit. Now, let's see. Our next article, guys, is going to be on Cisco Q4 earnings. So revenue was a beat. Earnings per share was a beat. They have strong guidance. The company sees a massive AI infrastructure opportunity ahead, which is huge for the company. We know that almost every company that does get involved with AI or Bitcoin has seen such an extra amount of success. So seeing that Cisco might step into that field, I want to do a deeper dive into that, especially if I was investing into Cisco as a company. So earnings highlights. Cisco reported fiscal fourth quarter revenue of 14.67 billion, beating the consensus estimate, of 14.62. So they beat it by 0.05 billion. Still a good amount. Good chunk of change right there. The networking equipment maker reported fourth quarter adjusted earnings per share of 99 cents per share, beating analysis estimates of 97 cents per share. So they did have a double beat. That's looking really good for them. Total revenue is up 8% year over year, as products revenue increased 10% year over year. That's a nice increase. It might not sound like much, but when it comes to companies and their revenue, their products, we want to look for consistent gains over the years. We don't want to see a random 50% spike here, a 10% drop here, a 20% spike, a 30% drop. We want to see consistency. Seeing something like a 10% year over year, another 8% year over year, it gives us some consistency in that company that they are doing the right thing. Product revenue growth was fueled by a 12% increase in networking, securities up 9%. Cisco generated 4.2 billion in cash flow from operations during this quarter, up 14% year over year. So Cisco, guys, is a very strong company. These earnings are backing that statement. We delivered a strong close to fiscal 2025, driven by our accelerated innovation and solid execution, said their chair and CEO. So that is Cisco, guys. If you want, we could do a quick brief of CSCO and see where we are trading at the moment. So pre-market, we had our earnings. It was a double beat, but we had a little bit of a push lower on this. Now, because the earnings and the earnings call, hence the article telling us about AI infrastructure, was strong, what I would like to look for would be a possible long-term position opportunity on something like Cisco. So check this out, guys. The $67 area, right where we based out, we had a double bottom over here. This is where I would want to look for a possible long position on Cisco to hold it to possibly, we see that we're making all-time highs, back to that new all-time high again. So we could use a long position tool, make sure we have a good risk to reward on that trade. It's looking pretty solid over a 5-to-1. This might be a good long term, and this might not even be the longest term investment because we're so close to those all-time highs already. Guys, let's take a look at bullish. How many of you have seen bullish lately? That thing is on a bullish run. What a move. It just IPO'd yesterday, up 11% after hours. So shares of the cryptocurrency exchange Bullish, ticker BLSH, soared over 11% Wednesdays after hours following the company's successful Wall Street debut. So Bullish, backed by billionaire venturist capitalist Peter Thiel, opened for trading at $90.45 per share, well above its initial IPO target price of $37 per share. This is almost just like what happened to Figma. Do you guys remember Fig? I think it was a week or two ago. It was supposed to IPO around 30, came in at like 70 or 80, and it just went crazy. We'll look at Fig, and we'll also look at Bullish for comparison, and we'll get a bit of an idea and see how we could trade these. They are on Cathie Wood's radar, so a little bit of a reverse Kramer. I feel like Cathie's turning into the new inverse Cathie, so we'll keep an eye on that. But they did buy roughly $172 million worth of Bullish shares through its ARK FinTech Innovation ETF. ARK Innovation eats a few of them, actually. So that is very important to know, right? So big buyers are getting into Bullish. That does show some confidence behind the company. We can take a quick look at the chart as well. BLSH, see where it's trading after hours. We see yesterday, again, we IPO'd around 89. We went to highs around 118. And now we closed yesterday around 68. But now we're back up to $76 a share. If we bring over our 15-minute time frame, we're able to measure it out and see that we are up 9%, almost 10% after hours on Bullish. Definitely want to keep an eye on that. Thiel has 2 treasury companies pumping it. Yo, I bet. All right, guys, let's take a look at, did you see, did it say stonks on there? Oh, no, it didn't. I have a trade panel set up and it's named stonks for my stocks. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. We got some good stuff. Once we go over the articles, we'll go over some chart analysis, and then we are going to bring on the one and only 13. We're going to go over the movers, our watch list, and we're going to see what's going on. Yo, good morning, Brandy. Brandy said he did well on bullish. Good job, man. That is awesome. So Lunar Intuitive Machines stock is tumbling after hours. Here's why. So Lunar's down after hours, about 10%. Shares are falling in extended trading on Wednesday after the company announced a proposed private offering. Good morning, Oz. Good morning, everybody. So what happened? After markets closed on Wednesday, Intuitive Machines said it intends to offer $250 million of convertible senior notes due in 2030 in a private offering to institutional buyers. The company plans to grant the initial purchasers a 13-day window to buy up an additional 37.5 million of notes. Very nice of them to give an extra 13 days so that they could buy another 37 million. Very nice. CEO Steve Altimus says the company's earnings release last week that Intuitive Machines continues to remain opportunistic about potential strategic M&A opportunities. So guys, will Lunar go bearish? Will Lunar stay bearish? Will it go private? We saw this year Walgreens, the pharmaceutical company, they got bought out and went private. So companies can go private. There's no doubt about it. Big companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon, they're probably a lot less likely. But listen, if something as big as Walgreens is able to be bought out, it is very possible. And guys, we'll take a quick look at Lunar on the chart as well, just so you guys could see the gap it had lower on this pre-market. So look at this, guys, pre-market. I can't even see it. Where are we? Wow, pre-market, guys. We're at $9.33 a share. It's off the chart. That's how big of a drop it just had. So we'll turn on our extended hours, and we see a huge drop. We can measure that down over 11% after hours. What I would look for on something like Lunar, guys, is I would mark out some pre-market low areas, and I would look to see if we could find some selling pressure, which would require good volume to break below these 920 levels. Like TWTR, absolutely. So we could look for this 920 to break. This is on Lunar. Now, if buyers are able to hold it up, which I do doubt it because of the news that came out, then I would like to see if we can make our way back towards the key psychological level. That would be $10 even, guys. So a trick when it comes to trading at all-time highs, especially if you're trading something like the SPY or QQQ, is when we're at all-time highs, we don't have any historical price levels to work with. So what we want to do is we want to mark out key whole numbers. These are key psychological levels because when we don't have any historical levels to work with, neither do institutions, neither do big firms. So they're doing almost the same thing where they're looking at the whole numbers. For the S&P 500, you might look at 650, 660, 670, 675. You could also go by fives as well for those levels too to give you a bit of some more key levels intraday. Now, as we see, something that Ryan pointed out on yesterday's stream was we're almost in this pattern right now. Red day, green day, red day, green day, red day, green day, red day, green day. Yesterday was a red day, but it really struggled. If we looked at the futures of ES, we could take a look too and see that the ES futures chart was actually a green day. People asking about Wolf, WULF, and TWTR. Guys, we're going to cover those very shortly when we have the homie 13 pop on. We're going to go over some analysis and we'll see what is going on. So for the S&P 500, guys, we see that we're making new highs, new higher lows. We're continuing higher, but volume is starting to sort of decrease. So what I like to do is I'll mark out previous day high. We'll add our alert up there and we'll be prepared to see if we could break previous day high. I would like to target the next key psychological level. Now, we could also get into people were asking about Wolf. We could take a look at our articles one more time as well. I do want to show you guys what's going on with AMD. AMD has been a stock I've been talking about for like this whole year. It really has been a company that, in my opinion, has been, it was really lacking in the sense of price action throughout the past year while NVIDIA was flying. So if we look at something like NVIDIA, it's at new all-time highs recently. AMD, look at this run up on NVIDIA right here, by the way, guys, 112%. That is huge. So let's see, there's NVIDIA, AMD, take a look at AMD. AMD is not near those all-time highs yet, but from those lows, those April lows, it is up 140%. So you see how we were able to look for a better net return on investment on something like AMD. The reason for that is because it was much further from those all-time highs. It's definitely got some ways to go as well. 227 all-time highs. We had some imbalance levels that we were finally able to break through. Good morning, Adi. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are all ready to make some money today. Once we go over some of these levels, we could break it down intraday. We'll look for some New York session trading as well, and we'll really see what's moving. Guys, do you guys trade large caps? Do you trade equities? Do you trade big movers? Do you trade futures? What do you trade? I'd love to know what you all trade in the comments. But this is AMD. We could come to an hourly time frame and just mark it out, and then we'll go over the article to see where and what trade we might want to be looking for. So this would be an area of resistance. This would be our area of support. And we see down here on AMD, this blue zone, this was an area of resistance. This red zone within the zone was an even stronger area within it. So this is how we could pinpoint a very strong area. So it was resistance, resistance, resistance multiple times until we were able to scale over it, and then it's been holding as support. So on something like AMD, if I was to trade the range on AMD, I'd look for longs around 162, 166, targeting around 184. If I was looking for shorts, I would look for shorts around here, around 184, 185. However, we have to remember, guys, when we are at some highs, the high of our range right over here, or even if we're bullish, see how we're bullish, and whenever we're range bound as traders, we're told we want to sell the highs and buy the lows. But that's not always the case. If we're in a bullish trend, that doesn't mean we should be selling the highs. That means we should be buying the lows. Now, to sell the highs, that would be us exiting our buying the lows position. If we bought the lows, we would want to exit by selling at the highs. So again, this would be a possible trade setup. I would look for something on AMD, a really great company. Obviously, NVIDIA, AMD, some of the top AI companies out there. So it's very important we keep an eye on them. So AMD, guys, Advanced Micro Devices, shares are trading higher on Wednesday. The company recently reported its earnings, but the move may have temporarily stalled out. The stock has run into resistance at a former peak, which, look at that, guys, before even going over the article, we recognized and we noted that earlier peak. I even have it marked out with this white trend line right here that I'm sure if we zoom out, look at how major this price level was. Major zone. We could even mark it with our rectangle tool so we could see the whole zone itself, delete any old irrelevant zones, and now we're all set up, guys. Yo, what's up, Zach? Good morning, man. Good morning. Let's see. So that's AMD. We'll head on back to the article, see what else they have to say about the company, see if anything is supporting us, to see if we could look for a breakout here. So sell at former peaks is an old edge, and it may prove to be a good advice on AMD. That's why it's the stock of the day. So as I mentioned, we buy the highs, we sell the lows. If markets, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, find resistance at their highs as well, then that gives way more confidence to take a short position on AMD. So something I might look for today is I'd look for this recent pivot that we were able to break above and close above, and I'd look to see if today's daily candle can break below it and then break below our previous day low as well. If that is the case, there is a good chance that we find some selling pressure on AMD, even down towards that 175 key level. Yo, good morning, Marziti. What's going on, man? Now it's a party. We got everybody coming in here, guys. I love to see it. Love to see it. As you can see on the chart, AMD's resistance around 186, same exact resistance I just marked out for you guys. So that's what's great about technical analysis and over time being able to spot these levels, is you guys watched me find that level and look at that level before even reading this article, and it matched up perfectly with what was shown on our Benzinga article. Because analysis should all be lined up a little bit similar, right? Even though we're all using different strategies, the pivots that we mark out, those don't change. It's very important to keep an eye on those. Next area, look at this. Even without using our own chart now, we could use our Benzinga article, and says next area is around 215. So 186, if we could scale above 186, head towards 1 187, 188. Then we could probably head towards 215 with some strength. That's right, guys. Producer's right. PPI and jobless claims coming at 8:30. Throw your tickers in the chat, and I'll take a look at them. We also have 13 coming on at 8:45. We got Lion saying he's got his money on bullish. Lion, where are we putting our money on? We're putting on bullish. Bullish up or down? We're going long on bullish today. Let's see. We'll pull their article back up as well and see where are they currently. So let's see. So based on the number of shares outstanding listed in a recent filing, the company's market capitalization was 9.48 billion at market close. Nice. Yo, Digital Dino, man. I like that. I like that, man. We're all ready for a breakout. We want to see a nice move today, guys. Hit that like button if you're ready to see a nice move in the market. We're going to absolutely kill it. Whether you're trading futures, stocks, options, we're going to find the best levels. We're going to find the best trade setups live here on Benzinga like we always do. So let's see. Let's take a quick look. We will go right through this article one more time as well. This is the stock market today article. Now, this one mentioned how the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.22% and the 2-year bond was at 3.67%. But mainly, the biggest thing we're keeping an eye on, guys, that's the biggest geopolitical or economic factor, is that the market is trying to price in 100% likelihood of the Fed Reserve cutting the interest rates for the September 17th decision. This is major. This could impact the market. This could push it higher. What does the company do again? Which company are we looking at, James? If we're looking at Bullish, Bullish is a crypto company. Bullish, yeah. So Bullish shares of cryptocurrency exchange Bullish. So it's a cryptocurrency exchange, sort of like a Coinbase or something like that. So Bullish soared over 11% after hours. So because of that, I would really want to be keeping an eye on our pre-market levels. So here's our pre-market high right here at 79.99. That's right near. Remember, we were talking about key psych levels, $80 even. If we could get above that $80 even, it's a crypto treasury by Thiel. Absolutely. Has a massive run. It'll be careful. Yeah, let's take a look. I do want to see what Fig is doing, because that was also the most recent IPO that went crazy. But that one went crazy on the first day. IPO'd around 84. Man, went to highs around 142. That is insane. And then had our pullback correction, and it has seen very little volume since then. So this is another one. If we were looking at Fig, could it find strength above 92 to possibly target 100 and then 112? Because we just had this volatility, it wouldn't be unheard of to get another big move like that. Guys, let me know. Drop some tickers in the chat, and we'll get the ball rolling. We'll look at some price levels. We'll get some stuff going. We'll get some entries. We'll look at gold. We'll look at ES. We'll look at NQ. Gold is one that I like to personally trade myself, but I do like to keep an eye on the dollar. The dollar is very important to watch when trading something like gold. So that would be DXY. That is the US dollar currency index. Now, when I'm trading gold, what I want to see is I want to see the dollar inverse to gold. So if the dollar's moving higher, I want to see a weak gold. If the dollar's moving lower, I want to see a strong gold. I like QQQ for today. Absolutely. We could take out the Qs. So the Qs would also be NQ, so NQ futures. ELV, yeah, I got you for sure. We could take a look at ELV too. Guys, I'm telling you, we're going to have the best trading day of your careers. We're going to find the best price levels. We're going to be patient for our trade setups. We're going to manage our risk correctly, and we're going to take home, like the Trader Bacon show, we're going to take home the bacon. All right, guys, so looking at the NASDAQ, we do have some resistance from our previous day. Hey, what's up, Anne-Marie? Good morning. How are you? Anne-Marie, one of the best guests or hosts, however you would word it, here on Benzinga. I love your shows. I'm always tuning in. Absolutely love your analysis. Great stuff, guys. Benzinga has some of the best hosts. What's up, Sassy Butterfly? Oh, I love it, man. I love it. So let's take a look here again. What I'm doing now is I'm doing my time frame analysis. So we started on our daily time frame on the NASDAQ. We could delete our broken orb price levels. Best day in 2 months. Okay, then Brent, let's shoot for the best day all year. Let's see. So our open price for today, our previous day high from yesterday, our previous day low from yesterday, and every blue level you see in here, guys, is a key psychological level that we mentioned before. So 23,500, 600, 700, 800. The 900 one is moved to oh no, it is at 900. And then 24,000. $24,000 per share. The question is Nasdaq going to hit 30,000 in the next year or two? With the momentum we've been seeing, the way it's been rolling, we were just at 22,000. Now we're all the way at 24,000. I think Nasdaq has room to rip. I think we see 26,000 this year. That would be a outstanding move on the Nasdaq. Qs as well. We could take a look. We'll see if reality sets in about 4 minutes. Brandy, you got it. We got that economic news coming out. Let's pull up, guys, our Benzinga Pro and check out our morning update. Is NVIDIA good today? Actually, it's NVIDIA, as all of you told me. Love it, guys. Love it. So economic data, as we know, initial jobless claims comes out at 8:30 a.m. That's right. Keep the emotions at bay, guys. When we're trading, we want to trade thoughtfully, not emotionally. So, guys, it is 8:26 T minus 4 minutes for initial jobless claims to come in and PPI. These are major economic events that will give us some volatility today and might give us some direction as well. So pre-market indexes, we see, like I mentioned, SPY's only down 0.05%, QQQ down 0.04%. Let's see, the Dow Jones also down only 0.06%. Anybody actually expecting something good? Listen, I don't know if I'm expecting something good from the reports, but I usually like to expect some type of move afterwards. We could look at upcoming IPOs as well. We have BUUU, MIAX, which is Miami International Holdings, and RYOJ, which I don't know if I'm going to even try to pronounce that one. Some company events. We have some analysis in initiations. DLO. DLO was one from our articles this morning. DLO. DLocal. So we could take a look at that. DLO. Rating is a buy. Change 24%. Analysis firm HSBC. Price target $15. So let's take a look at DLO. Don't miss one of the good trading days or you'll get FOMO. I know. Listen, man, FOMO is a part of trading, but I always tell everybody, if you have a system in place, when you're becoming a trader, whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, no matter what, a scalper, you should have a system in place that has an answer for everything. Should I take a trade here? That should have an answer by, do you have the right confirmations? That should be answered by, yes, I do. What's my risk on this trade? What's your account size? We got to know all of these answers right before we take a trade, before we take any trade, because that's what keeps us in line and keeps us in the long run, guys. If you can't manage a losing trade, you will not be able to manage a winning trade. Thank you, Anne-Marie. You are too kind. You guys are all too kind. Top earnings for the day. We have NetEase. That one is before market opens. We have VIPS. We have AMCR. We have JD, which is a very big one as well. ELV. We could take a look at ELV. Sure. And now analyst downgrades, analyst upgrades. Like we said, DLO was upgraded to a buy with a price target of $15. We could take a quick look at that DLO and see where we're trading if $15 is a good price target. So we'll start with our daily time frame. Wow, okay. So it gapped up to $14.37. So I suppose $15 is a very realistic price target. We have PPI coming out and jobless claims coming out in just 30 seconds, guys. So we're going to pull up the ES futures chart because we want to see if futures get a bit of a reaction to that. Now, myself, guys, I have a supply zone on ES on around 64.96 where I'd look for possible short positions. And I have a demand zone down here around 64.66 for possible long. So it's about a 30-point range here on the ES. And I'd look to sell the highs and buy the lows. I know that we've been in a bull trend, so I'd want to sort of be patient for selling the highs. There's our CPI print right there. Nice big drop. That's why we want to be out of any trades before it happens. Yup, yes, sir. You know it, Yassine. Okay, big drops right there. There's our recent day's gap fill, which we did hit already, so we could delete that. No longer relevant. PPI year over year, July is up. Ooh, up over 3.3% versus its 2.5% estimate. Producers, this information correct? Oh my goodness, inflation, gross. For July, okay, USA core PPI year over year for July, 3.7% versus 2.9% estimate. Oh my man, I don't know, guys. We're gonna have to wait for this to come through. Initial jobless claims, which I'm gonna have to be patient on because seeing what happened to the last few jobless claims, where it came in, they said they were good, and then they got revised recently. I don't know if I want to trust jobless claims reports, but they did fire the person that gave the wrong information. We're in demand on ES here. Let's see if we do want to start to hold up. Yeah, right, Anne Marie. That was a crazy move. Mark gave us a rip your face off in the morning off that PPI and initial jobless claims. Now, something I would keep an eye on, guys, is if we're able to close back above this demand zone. Now, I really like longs here. I might actually take a long position on my own account, but myself, I'd much rather wait for the news to sort of play out and get some confirmation for it. Let's see. Look at that. We are holding it. This red zone we have here too, guys, this was a supply zone. So a trade setup I like to use is resistance. It's broken. Now it's support. And it's been support since previous days pre-market, yesterday during the New York session, and now it looks like it's holding up as support again today, guys. Markets love to repeat themselves. 6470, Anne Marie says, is a institutional support. 6470. That is awesome. Nice, nice. So 6470, it's a price level we could also look to see if we could scale back above. Good stuff, guys. Anne Marie, love having you in here today. If you want, I'll send you the link. You hop on right now with me. But we got 13 coming up as well, guys. We got good stuff all around. We have the best community out there. Jobless claims and like the Windows and Apple software upgrade where and pull back and just say, haha, just kidding. Yeah, I know. Seriously. Guys, great hold on ES here. Like I said, I was considering taking some longs. I'd much rather be a little patient for this big giant candle to close because right now, guys, we had this huge move. It went right into this demand zone and we're starting to hold. But the question is it really holding? On the 1 minute, it's trying to retest it. So let's see. I'm going to take just one contract along ES here off of this demand zone. If it does stop me out, it stops me out. That's okay. We got to know how much our risk is per trade before we enter the trade. And if it goes right to stop loss, that's fine too, guys. Like I said, we got to respect our stop loss, respect our take profit, and respect our system. Look at that. Stops me out. That's okay. We stay patient. We wait for the next setup. 6460, big zone of support. Yeah, absolutely. This whole area I have in here on the hourly, let's see. So I have a whole area of support from 64.68 to about 64.56. So I would like to see initially if we could hold above this zone. If we can by New York session, we will look for a retest of this area to target those highs. So guys, like I said, we could be patient. Markets are known for taking money out of the hands of the impatient and putting it into the hands of the patient. That's where I'm looking to get enter around 64.55 as stop. Nice, Anne Marie, nice. Beautiful. Awesome. And I like you sent me a great setup on ground beef, I think it was a month or two ago. You had Ryan send it to me. I do appreciate that. Very kind of you to be thinking about me. Us futures traders, we got to stick together, guys. It is 9:35. Another tool I like to use, you got it. Another tool I like to use is volume profile, guys. Markets cannot move without volume. And the volume on the subgraph is very helpful, but the volume profile is what really shows us where our volume is located per price level. So if we're looking at yesterday's, pre-market, right, into today's, we see we have our volume shelf right here. We're going to mark that out so you guys could see it. Oh, there we go with another break lower. So we have a D shape. So we look to sell the highs and buy the lows, right? So we're looking for the range. So right now, I wouldn't look for any shorts because this could be a fake out to the downside. So if anything, I'm being patient for the market to say, hey, yes, we finally have a real breakout. And that real breakout can very well come from that PPI news, from that jobless claims. So we'll keep an eye. PPI came very high, so I would expect some type of pullback. We could take a look at the dollar as well to see how the dollar's reacting to it, because that could also give us a good gold reaction. So gold had a big move higher. We could take a look at whether you're trading gold GLD, trading gold futures GC. We see that it had a strong reaction to the downside. So might be a little patient on something like gold. We have clearly been trying to break lower, but it's definitely hesitating on this 3,400. So guys, let's bring back some Benzinga Pro. Let's take a look at what's going on. XPON going to bust. Oh, let's take a look at XPON. Guys, any tickers, let me know in the chat and we'll mark them up real quick for you. XPON. Whoa, look at this one, guys. This one is ripping right now. Fantastic. When MACD turns green, look out. Yeah, definitely be careful when using indicators like the RSI or MACD because these are considered lagging indicators. And with lagging indicators, they're not going to give you a green signal until markets actually gave us that reversal. A liquidity break of 64.55, still holding. If lose 64.40 next. Nice. Yo, Anne Marie, I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, oh yeah, big break on ES actually the second I went away. Big break on ES to the downside. Oh, and it broke below that 55. Real quick, guys, we will see if we have any other demand zones lower. Because now at this point, if we're able to scale and hold below, I'm going to be changing my bias because I let the market tell me, hey, A, B, and C is happening. Here's this clue and this clue. Now let's change our bias and look at this. We'll cover the movers. Yes, sir. We're going to cover the movers very shortly when we have the best and one and only 13 join us. He'll be here in about 10 minutes. What's happening to AMD and NVIDIA right now? We could take a look. Are they skyrocketing? Oh, they're dropping. So that's okay. AAG was asking about what's going on with NVIDIA and AMD. So I'm sure just like the other stocks as well, like Apple and Amazon, they all took a pretty big hit on this pre-market. And that's because of that PPI and jobless claims information, right? So when that comes in, it causes a big market pull, whether it's a push lower, a push higher. It gives us what's called volatility. When that happens, because we can't trade equities anyways pre-market, that's okay. So we stay patient, but we want to be out of any trades. I will mention on something like Amazon right now, we are rejecting a point of resistance. And we rejected this on last Thursday as well. Here we are coming into it this Thursday and we're rejecting it again. So this might be sort of lining up to say, hey, equities are at the top of their range. Because now look at this, guys. Amazon is at the top of its range. We know AMD is at the top of its range because we went over that article this morning. NVIDIA rejecting the top of its range, but sort of trying to find the bottom right now. So right now on something like NVIDIA, I'd really watch that 180 level. If NVIDIA could break below 180, 179, I would like to see if it could head towards that 177 area or even 175, and that's going to help pull the markets lower. Did you guys know at this point that NVIDIA makes up 8% of the entire S&P 500? 8% of the S&P 500 is just one company. NVIDIA. That is huge. Take a look at Microsoft as well, and sort of the same situation on Microsoft where it's trading towards the bottom of the range. So now I'm seeing equities as a 50-50. We have, what was it? We had Meta, also sort of middle of its range. We had Amazon at the top of its range. We had AMD at the top of its range, but then we had Microsoft at the bottom of its range. We could take a look at Google as well, and we do see Google is rejecting and might make its way towards that previous day low. Look at this crazy pivot we had on Google yesterday, around 197.51. So guys, we've got some good stuff going on. Hit that like button if you're ready to make some money today. It is 8:40. We got about 20 minutes till 9 o'clock, about 50 minutes for markets to open. Sellers are chopping on XPON. We have CNC support at 25. We could take a look. We could see and see what is going on there at 25. So right, 25 would be a nice key psychological level. We got to mention though, 25 as support. Right now we're already trading at $27 a share. And if we're looking at our chart right here, we want to be realistic with the moves we're looking for, right? So 125 is way down over here, guys. 125 is way down over here. So that has been working as support. Can we look at BMNR? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we can look at BMNR. Let's take a look. So yeah, I like that 25 as support on CNC. And I would also like where we're actually trading right now as possible resistance right here. So I'd keep an eye. This is like 27. If it can scale above this resistance point, we might have some room in the tank to run towards $30. And that might be a nice run right there. Hey, good morning, Kevin. What's going on, man? We got a lot of people joining in from my community over at Bullish Bears. I do live trade over there, guys, Monday through Friday. That's bullishbears.com. So let's take a look. CNC, SNOA wrapped up on VWAP, BMNR. I think I saw that one a few times in here. What's that, a bit miner? Bitmine immersion technology. So with Bitcoin climbing, will the Bitminers follow as well? You hit the like button 2 times. What if you hit it 3 times? No, I'm just kidding. Guys, make sure you hit the button 1 time, because if you hit it again, I think it gets rid of the like. All right, so here's BMNR, guys. On the daily time frame, the first thing that stands out to me isn't the technical analysis. The first thing that steps out to me, guys, is this right here. This volume picking up. So when I see that volume picking up, I know that something might be going on. And because we didn't really get a strong breakout just yet, there's a good chance that this something going on, we might get that spike soon. Now, pre-market, we did take a little bit of a hit. We are already below that previous day low, but we want to see. So from $70, nice. Your short BMNR from 70, nice, man, good stuff. So short from 70. Did you get that short yesterday? We just hit 70 yesterday. That was a good short entry, seeing that we're already below 60. We could use our volume profile tool on here as well, guys. Now, some people would mark it from all the way back here. Where I like to use the volume profile is to wherever the trend started. So this is where real volume started to step into this BMNR. So that's where I would want to place my volume profile. So what this is showing me a bearish volume profile. So the reason for that is because we have low volume to the upside and high volume to the downside. And that would make almost like a B shape. If this was the opposite on this side, it would look like a lowercase b. Right now it looks like a D shape, but heavy volume to the downside, low volume to the upside. Usually what we would want to look for then is to short the low volume, short the high. So great short entry on that $70 short on BMNR. Yesterday, they're playing a game dumping the ATM offering into the rally. Okay, pretty interesting. We'll see how it wants to play out. Always important, always cool to have good tickers and charts on our list. I do like this one. I would be careful for a possible short squeeze if you weren't, not alone, in the sense that look at all this volume picking up. If this was a lot of people trying to take it short, then we might want to hold. Look at our new low volume shelf right here around, what is this? This is 53 to 57. This is the area of support I would want to watch on BMNR. Yo, good morning, guys. Good morning, Rustum. What's going on? Brent, what's up? What's up? Crispy, what's up? BMRA is what they are asking for. No Ryan today, guys. My name is Kevin Dubrisky. I am covering for Ryan today. We could take a quick look at the ES futures, see how we're reacting to those key levels. Look at that nice reaction right there, coming back to the supply zone. Now, at this point, what I usually like to look for is I'll look for some type of resistance off of the supply zone. Like I said, possibly look for a short position. Now, me personally, I like to use a tool called Bookmap. Bookmap is a great order flow tool, gives us good volume analysis. That would help me confirm this trade. Right now, we aren't going to be doing that. We'll be looking at some of the tickers that you guys have mentioned. So AERT. Let's take a look. And guys, don't forget, we got some great guests today. We have 13. We might even have Markets and Mayhem joining too. So very excited. So let's see. AERT. So this one has given us no volatility, no volume up until, what is this, overnight? This is the first time AERT is finding some good volume. It went from, wow, guys, 69 cents a share yesterday. It's going to be opening at a 51% gain to the upside, 36 cents to the upside. That is huge. This might be a gap and go. We see the last time this stock had a strong gap, this gap was only about 20 cents, 23% gain. It had a gap, had good volume on this day, and it shot up to $2.60. That is a wild move. This is definitely on our radar today. AERT had a 50% gap, and it might look for a strong shoot up higher. We see that it has the ability. This almost looks like the VIX. I don't know if you guys ever looked at a VIX chart, but it's very similar to the VIX, where it's just very low down here and has these random spikes, right? So let's take a look. Let's go back to that one more time. AERT. So if we could get a big gap, good volume coming in, we might see a strong gap and go on AERT. This is something I'm going to be watching today. Good stuff. Whoever called out AERT, I think that was Rustum. Great stuff, man. Best community out there. You guys know it. Oh, sorry about that, producer. That is my apologies. Missed on some of those messages. Whatever you guys want to cover. Do we want to go back to some futures? Do we want to day trade some futures on the pre-market? Do you guys want to go over any specific tickers? Do you want to cover any specific Benzinga articles or morning upgrades? We could take a look and see analysis upgrades, DLO, KTOS, IBTA is on the downgrade side. Company name Nice, that's pretty nice. Top earnings for the day. Burke, that's Birkenstock Holdings, not Berkshire. BUUU Group. Let's see, we got a lot to cover today, guys. So I'm definitely excited to bring 13 on. He should be joining us soon. Let's take a look. Any thoughts on Etsy? We could take a look at Etsy, absolutely. And who else? Somebody asked about Wolf. I think for Wolf, Brent, for Wolf, I want to wait for 13 to join because I'd love to hear his input on it as well. So Etsy, man. Oh, look at this, guys. Etsy with a nice pop the past few days, up about 20% in the past 5 trading sessions on Etsy. So that's a pretty nice rally. It is not near all-time highs yet. It's definitely got some ways to go. 306 is its all-time highs. Yo, good morning, Greg. What's going on? Greg's looking for ALTS. Amazon showing some good strength after that sell-off. Maybe a decent play for the day. Mike, that's a good question. We'll keep an eye on Amazon once the New York session opens. That's for sure. So something I would do here, guys, same situation where markets look like they're trying to move higher. I would start marking out some major pivots. So I'd come look back. I'd look for any areas where the market had a pivot. So here's a strong pivot right here where market pushed higher, had a strong rejection lower. That's called a pivot. We have another pivot right over here. This was a pivot, market pushed higher. We had a huge rejection lower, very fast. So 71, 72 might be a good area to get out of any long positions on Etsy or look for a rejection lower. ELV, we could take a look at ELV. Let me just make sure it's not one that I wanted to save for 13 as well. Nike getting a golden cross today. Is Nike finally going back bullish? Because it had those earnings and it was a horrible turn to the downside. It was a little bit ago. Went to like 50 a share. Yeah, this earnings right here. Gapped lower, continued lower. Needed another earnings to get it back in the right direction. It did. Looks pretty solid. I like Nike if it could get above 82 towards like 90. That would be a pretty nice swing trade right there on Nike. Got to remember too, guys, when it comes to a company like Nike, almost like Carvana. Do you guys remember Carvana? Carvana went from like $360 a share to $7 a share. What was the lows on Carvana? Carvana is a story in like no other. $3.87 a share. It went from highs of 376. It sold off about 98%, and has since recovered and made all-time highs. That is mind-blowing, guys. Imagine buying and holding Carvana just a couple years ago for over a 3,000% return. That, again, mind-blowing that the markets actually offer these kinds of returns. Does it happen often? Absolutely not. But can it happen, period? Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Eventually, guys, soon we're going to have 13 on. I thought he was joining us today at 8:45. He might be joining us today at 9. So that is good. Oh, here we go, actually. Can I get a drum roll, please, from the chat, guys? Let's bring on the one and only Mr. 13. Are you ready? Let's get it.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. How are y'all today?
Yo, good morning, 13. Good morning, man. We've been waiting for you, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through some of these movers. Unfortunately, I couldn't cover too many before I jumped on here, but we can get through these in real time. How about that?
Awesome, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll pull up our Benzinga Pro. What do you want to get started with?
Well, the first one I have on the movers list is XPON. This is
Good stuff.
XPON 360. What's going on with this company here today is they are trading. Hold on a second, I'm on the wrong one. They are trading higher after they reported their Q2 financial results, which is better than expected. And they also forecast some sales, or they achieved some robust sales growth here in that earnings. Got about 3.3 million shares in the float here. So in our wheelhouse of what we're looking for to as far as a float to trade. With 11% of that float shorted. So a little bit of a potential to squeeze some shorts at some point here. It looks like that's already happened, though, with this movement we've been getting upwards. Their cash position is a little bit concerning, though. They reported that they had 1.3 million in cash and equivalents at the end of the quarter. And it seems like with their current cash balance and the rate at which they burn capital, because they're not yet profitable, that there could be an offering coming soon. I don't know if that's going to happen today. I didn't see any filings. As a matter of fact, the only filings I do see for offerings are just for employee benefits. So I don't think that's going to really do anything to the share structure. Those are typically restricted anyway. But they also did regain NASDAQ compliance after they had received a letter, but they ended up trading back above the minimum bid requirement. So looks like they are okay in that sense, but I do believe that they have a bit of a cash problem that they're going to have to rectify at some point down the road soon. Now, as far as the chart goes, I was looking at the daily, and I usually typically use the 5-minute for trading. So we are above this 350 level that we hit earlier this morning. We backed off of it, but then we recently broke through it later this morning. And now I'm going to be viewing that as an area where we're going to want to see some support. And we've also got a bit of an uptrend happening here. I drew a trend line from that first impulse move in the morning through this current high at $4 that we have. And I'm viewing that as a potential area where the price might go and even potentially break out of. If we get that, I have levels going up to resistance areas that I see at 450 and 565 thereafter. So that's what I've got going on with XPON. But whatever you've got to add to that, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, dude, that's fantastic. Amazing breakdown. That's why we get you in here, 13. You know what's up. I love it, man. Awesome. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Show 13 some love. That like button, like somebody mentioned earlier, is absolutely free to press. So make sure you click it. We got a request for PSKY a couple times, guys. And now because we have our lucky 13 in the room with us, we can take a look.
Let's take a look at PSKY. So this was moving yesterday as well. We looked at this one. I think we traded this one. I don't think this was one of the ones that showed up on the movers list initially, but this was getting pointed out by some wonderful members in our chat, and we ended up taking a look at it and look at the day it had yesterday, starting at was about 11:20, going up as high as 1753, especially in the afternoon, which, folks, I've been mentioning, if we don't get all the great movement out in the morning, just keep these movers on your radar, because they can still make moves later on in the day, and this is one of them that did.
Yep. So, this was one that gave us two legs that day. Actually, New York session opened. It gave us a move for about 26%, about a $3 move. Gave us a little bit of a bull flag towards VWAP, and then it gave us our second move around. Like you said, people start to get away from their computers at 11 o'clock. Well, that's a lot of times when that second leg starts to initiate.
Yeah, we frequently are talking about that. About 10:30 is when we around here is when we kind of view the market as starting to lose its volume, because people are as you said, getting up from their desks, going to late breakfast, early lunch, going to go and talk about their wonderful trades they had, and then when they come back, we tend to see more of that volume return, and it really does pick up, and we get moves like we do in the later part of the day with PSKY.
Yep, absolutely.
What was is there a question? Because Ryan Summerall was, I think he was even the one that was on this one yesterday. And was there something more that you were looking for here, Ryan? Because it seems to me in the pre-market here that we are a little bit lower from the after hours yesterday, but we're holding this this area where after that first impulse move that took us up to, what is this, about 1420. And we broke out of that area later. After we hit that 1753 in the regular session yesterday, and we came down, we sold off. We got some support from that 1420, 1430 area. So that's going to be an area that I'd be keeping my eye on for today once we open, to see if we continue with that support. And that's also in the same area as the 200 EMA.
This is something interesting, and 13, I'd love your input on it. So I'm looking at the news category here on the PSKY that we're looking at. Mm-hmm. And it's saying that Paramount Skydance PSKY surged 36% on August 13th, reaching a new 52-week high of 1753 following Jim Cramer's meme stock comment. So did we have something backing this, or was it just some type of, not pump and dump, but spoken by somebody with a big audience, and then that audience finding the stock?
I think one of the, well, and it could have been a number of things, because when I was looking at this and we were checking it out, it was there was some news about how Hillwood and SGS Studios had launched the largest production campus in Texas, and this was affiliated with the PSKY in some capacity. There's an article that I didn't read, but it's linked to that. So I thought that was potentially the news, but there is also the potential that this had for, I think, a short squeeze. I'm not getting any short interest on there, but I saw some headlines about the short interest, so that could have been it as well. I don't know the exact reason, because there's also a Guggenheim initiating coverage with a price target of $13, and well, we went up there and beyond yesterday. So
yeah,
there was a number of things that were happening. So I don't know if I could really pinpoint an exact event. And there was even this headline back from Tuesday about the company announcing a 7-year rights agreement, making it the exclusive U.S. home for UFC events. That was on Tuesday toward the end of the day. So there were several things that came out, and I don't know exactly which one is it has caused this to move. Maybe Ryan, you could tell us what you think that is, because the gentleman in the chat was bringing this up. I just don't know the exact reason. But hey, I'm looking at levels at this point.
Yep. No, of course. Something I want to point out, guys, quick trick with our Benzinga Pro charting platform. So you see how we have our VWAP on our chart, but when we're looking at our chart, that blue line, the VWAP doesn't really help us on an hourly because it stays pretty close to the candles. So something you could do is you could come over to your VWAP, hit the settings, and you go over to visibility. Once you go over to visibility, you're going to click off hours, days, weeks, months. And for minutes, you could drag it down to, if I only want the VWAP available on the 15-minute time frame, I could bring it to a range of 1 minute to 23 minutes. And now it'll only show up when I'm on a 15-minute time frame or lower. So now it's there. Now I want to do my analysis on a higher time frame. Now it's gone. Keeps our charts very clean so we can do our analysis.
Oh, Ryan Summerall saying 7 years, $7 billion. It was the UFC agreement. So that's, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I didn't really have the catalyst pinpointed, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Now, I don't want to make any predictions on how high this goes, or if it has any legs today. But we can also look to the left and see what we've got coming up. And if we do, let's see, did we even get up there? So we had a high about 17 and change, and that almost. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
That took us up to a December 2023 high, but it didn't. It fell a little short of this $19 level, which I think is going to be an interesting spot for PSKY, because if you look at the March to May time frame on the daily chart in 2023, you can see that in March the price came down to a low of about 18.89, so almost just a little bit under 19. And then we also had this gap that went from about $23 down to that 18.85 area. So we're almost, if we get to 19, we're going to be in a gap fill territory, and I think that could make for some pretty interesting trading in there. So let's see if we get up to 19 today, and if we do, then we'll be at the doorstep of that gap. You see what I'm referring to in PSKY?
Yes. Let's see. I just pulled up the XPO line. I think somebody in the chat mentioned it had a pretty nice move.
Perfect. I'll go back and take a look at that. Yeah, look at that. Right to our $4 again.
Yeah, exactly. It's really respecting that key level, guys. PSKY took over all events for UFC, including pay-per-views, massive deal with Paramount Plus that was worth more than Paramount Plus. All right, cool. Guys, Paramount Plus has really been making some moves lately. I mean, that South Park deal for, 5 years, $1.5 billion or something like that? Or 4 years, I think 4 years, $1.5 billion. Absolutely insane. Yeah, guys, Ryan looks a little different today.
Don't worry, he'll be back. In the meantime, we're going to have Kevin here, and Kevin's awesome.
Thank you, guys. I promise I'm all right.
Oh, no, he's doing just fine, man.
Awesome.
But, so that $19 level on PSKY, we get up there. That's on the doorstep of a gap fill that could take us up to 23. So just and that's May 3rd to May 4th. I'm sorry, May 5th. No, 4th. I'm sorry, I got that right. May 3rd to May 4th, 2023. That where that gap is that we could come up to if we do get to 19 today. So that's PSKY.
Yep. Joseph asks, everything getting shivved this morning, natural market correction forces, or did I miss some news? So Joseph, you did miss a little news. We actually had our PPI data come out this morning, and we also had initial jobless claims. I'm going to scroll up in the chat and I will find that information for you. PPI came in much higher than expected. So USA core PPI year over year for July was 3.7% versus the 2.9% estimate. Gave the market a very bearish reaction. The USA core PPI month over month for July was 0.9% versus the 0.2% estimate. Again, much higher than expected. And then, of course, came in our initial jobless claims, which I mentioned earlier. I don't know if I'm going to take these with a grain of salt anymore, with seeing how the past 2 months had to get revised. But they are initial jobless claims, 224,000 versus 225,000 estimate. Not the biggest miss there versus our PPI that was a much stronger hit.
Yeah, those PPI numbers not looking great compared to the estimates. Apparently, that's just some of the effects that we've been anticipating for tariffs. We'll see if this continues or if it's just a one-off. That jobless claims, yeah, pretty much in line. So don't really think that it's really moving the needle that much today. I think it has more to do with, as you said, with the PPI.
Yeah.
And we did have a bit of an interesting formation on the daily chart for SPY, where we, depending on who you talk to, we either have an evening star candle formation or a bearish abandoned baby. You see with the SPY how we had this big impulse or this big green candle, bullish candle on Tuesday, but yesterday we ended up with the doji that it was
where?
This is SPY.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is SPY. This is a bearish reversal formation that was kind of wondering if we were going to see it here or not. So far, with this PPI report, if we start trading down today, we're going to have this candle formation pretty well established. So we'll see what we end up getting throughout the rest of the day. We need a bearish looking candle today that takes us down to about the 637, 638 area. But that's what I'll be watching for today if we're going to start to see a turnaround here. Remember, we are in the seasonality where the markets are going to be a little bit choppy. So expect or anticipate some pretty illiquid and outsized moves on low volume.
Absolutely. That's funny. Right when you were saying 637, I was marking out 636 as an area of support.
Nice.
Fantastic. So yeah, guys, if we could see SPY get back below 640, 641, would like to see some selling pressure bring us back lower, maybe even towards that 637 that 13 just mentioned. Remember, guys, when sellers step into the market, a lot of times those sell-offs are a lot more, as we see, violent than our grinds higher, because people are much quicker psychologically and just overall to hit that sell button, especially if they were in profit. They don't want to lose. They see the market's turning red. They got to hit that sell button. There are so many more reasons to sell than there are to buy. So once panic, that's why they call it panic selling. Everybody hits that sell button. Everybody's panicking, hitting sell. That adds the pressure. That adds the volume. That creates a big move.
Absolutely. And good morning, Smoked Tuna. Bonjour. So we have Smoked Tuna here now, and I just got to say it. Look, we got at least one 100% runner, and two if SNOA can climb its way back up over 650. So we're what are we looking at here, Smoked Tuna? Are we going to have a good morning? I'm hoping we are. I think we will. But it looks to me like with that PPI report, we might get a little bit of selling in some of these larger names. You tell me what you see out there with your Tuna AI. And I could still go over some more of these movers. I didn't have a whole lot of time to dig deep into some of these other ones, but I was looking at SNOA as well, if we want to spend a little bit of time on that one.
Yeah, for sure. And then I wanted to get into, I believe somebody was asking for, what was it? Where'd it go? I hope I could find it. Somebody said a few times. I want to say it was like BP.
BMNR.
Yeah.
And then there was also, and then Bob Marley. We'll get to Wolf. Sorry, I missed your comment. We'll get to Wolf after this one.
Well, BMRA. That's the one I was looking for. Yep.
Okay. What's going on with BMRA?
Let's see. I don't know. Somebody asked, so we shall answer.
United Arab Emirates Ministry of Health and Prevention approves BioAmerica's Fortel ulcer test for home use. That is the news headline. The only news headline I see today.
It gapped up 62% though from yesterday's close.
Very low float, 2.39 million in the float there. Let's look at this chart. So we're approaching the 500-day SMA off this news. Looks like we're actually backing off, but we did get pretty close. That 500-day SMA value is at 509. With the smaller time.
509. Okay, cool. Guys, I really like this BMRA technical analysis wise. We have a area of resistance that was support when we were above it, and then it was resistance when price broke below it. At this point, we gapped above it, so now I would like to see it work as support, and that's around that 450 level. Somebody else was asking, where'd that go, man? ONDS. Was that on our readers today?
ONDS. I think that's just a one that we frequently look at.
Gotcha.
Because it's a big it's a Ryan play. He really likes that one. He's been in that one. He's been doing really well in it. So we tend to look at that one pretty frequently. But yeah, for BMRA, I think I'd be keeping an eye on that 500-day SMA, and then of course the support areas you were mentioning down at 450. Let's see which one we end up testing first. But ONDS, let's take a look at that. See what we got here. What kind of action we get today? All right. This is one that when before we even got there, we were looking at $4 as a potentially stiff resistance area. And if you look to the left back in March and May and June of 2022, you can see how $4 just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. So what happens when we get up there, and we had a really good day that took us pretty deep into $4. That was just a couple of days ago. They did an offering after hours that took us back down to where we're at now. So seems like there's still some support in this area from the January 3rd highs. And then basically just all the candlesticks in that area. So that gives you about it gives a little support from about 305 to 340. But after that, then we're going to start getting to the longer term moving averages, like the 20-day SMA, the 50-day SMA. Those will be the next area of support if we start losing that $3 area.
Yeah.
What do you got in this?
I like ONDS right here for support around 320 to 340. So we got a little bit of a daily demand zone here. Needs some volume. So it does ELV. That's right. ELV was another one I wanted to cover. Sargil has been very patient for that one. We will get to that one next. And then we'll do Wolf, WULF, another big one as well. Guys, appreciate you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button if you're excited to make some money today. I know I am. I'm excited to be with all of you. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well and social media. It's just at Benzinga. And you could follow my personal Instagram as well, is at Trading with Kev. I like to post daily videos going over just 30 seconds of just what's going on in the market. How did PPI come out? How did initial jobless claims come out? I want to give you guys the best, easiest information. For ONDS, I would like to see us hold. Like 13 mentioned, we have that January 3rd high around 340. Now we also have a daily demand zone sitting right at that 340 as well. So ideally, what I would like to see for probably a swing position on ONDS would be an entry in this 340, 330 area and target that 360 area.
And Joseph Schmo, you're right. Considering their offering, and ONDS ain't doing that bad. And I think there's a big reason for that, because this company is pretty much firing on all cylinders right now with the drone theme being strong. But I feel like that offering, because they couldn't hit up a bank or just get the capital from anywhere else, they needed it fast in order to expand staff and expand their technologies. They had to do an offering. So I think that's why you're not seeing a big sell-off, because unlike a biotech, which is just going to eat through that cash and they'll probably do another offering later, this is actually going to put that capital to use. At least that's what the expectation is. So I think you're right about that. It ain't doing that bad. And I think there's a reason for that.
Is there anything financial-wise going on with ONDS that could either support or against any of our analysis at this point?
Well, they just had the offering, so I don't think that they'd be, looking to dilute shares again. I think that would. I don't really see that happen very much at all, where they just do these back-to-back offerings, unless one's one type where they dilute shares, and others a different, like a private placement. I've seen that, but it seems like they're financially okay and they're getting some business. So I think I would just kind of lean on the technicals with this one. They've been serving us pretty well.
Okay, cool. So,
I don't that might not be the completely correct statement. There might be some more that we just haven't seen in the financials that we just haven't seen yet, but I think they're
yep.
okay for now.
All right, great. Let's see. We also had, what was the one I just mentioned? Not Wolf. We'll do Wolf right after this next one. ELV. Is that one on our watch list today? ELV. If it's not giving us too much of a move, we might not give it too much loving or attention.
I don't see ELV on the list here. It's nowhere near the top.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either. Just sort of on the daily time frame is where I look for some type of initial move or volume to pick up, but we're really not getting that. They just had earnings, and they had a miss on earnings per share. They did beat on revenue, but since then they had a sell-off off the earnings reaction, and we've been range bound. So price action wise, if I was looking for a trade on ELV, I'd probably look to see if we could scale above the 300 key psychological level first, but I'd also be watching the daily time frame to make sure our volume increases on our break back above 300, because if we break it back above 300 without volume, there's a good chance we want to see another leg back lower. So I just sort of keep an eye on that on ELV, but it is not on our big mover list right now, so we're not going to be keeping too close of an eye on that.
Yeah,
Wolf, on the other hand,
I'll just say real quick with ELV, this is another health insurer. That whole sector has not had a good year so far. This does look like it did put in something of a double top from November of 22 to August of 24. We're still coming down off of that double top those years ago and into this consolidation area back from 2018 to 2020. Just a lot of sideways, mostly sideways price action, with a lot of the body of this price action occurring between 233 to 309, almost 310. So that area in there might, we could view that as a bit of a demand area. So I think we might see either some sideways consolidation happening with this one, or we might see some more interest pick up if it goes a little bit lower towards that 245.
Gotcha. Let's see. So we got a few more requests. We have Trib 2. Somebody asks for Trib, okay. TRIB, and then Wolf as well, WULF. Guys, we're going to cover both of them, I promise. Only if you hit that like button, though. I'm just saying. So Trib, I see Trib had a bit of a move, and pre-market, it looks like, wow, look at that, guys. It closed yesterday at 101 per share, and right now it's sitting at 209 per share, 104% gain overnight. This is one we could be keeping an eye on. It is getting close to a recent pivot high from, this is October, last October 28th, pivot high at 221. So I always want to be careful when it comes to strong moves like this, because we don't know if we're going to get the strong move. All these people that were long are going to start getting out of their position. You have to think of it too, guys, in the mind of if you were already in a position. If you were already in a position on, this is Trib right here. If you were in a long position anywhere over here, and you were holding it this whole time, and then today we have this crazy gap up, and you wake up, the New York session opens, you're at over 100% gain, you're going to be taking profits. So at this point, what I would want to see is if people are taking profits off of this pivot, this 220 pivot, and also key level $2 even. So those are the areas I would want to watch for on Trib, TRIB. FDA news. Let's take a look.
This is ripping right now. It's been ripping over the past 10 or 15 minutes. So this is just started happening, and it's on the news that Trinity Biotech receives regulatory approval to begin FDA cleared preeclampsia testing device. I don't know what that type of device is, but let's take a look, see if we can find out what that ends up doing. Preeclampsia is a rapidly progressive hypertensive disorder affecting approximately 5 to 8% of pregnancies. So this is on the maternal side. I mean, that's I don't know if that's all that this company does, but that's what this is used for. So characterized by this onset of sudden high blood pressure and associated sign of organ dysfunction like protein in the urine or severe headache. Okay. So that's what it's getting the approval for. This is taken off on that. We just hit a high of 216. That looked like that was about to where the
that's 221.
Yeah, really close to that level you were mentioning. So so far we're already having a good time here. We're already getting some great levels. And that area, that 220 area, a lot of consolidation that goes back into 2023 in that area as well. I'm kind of with you on that that could be a whole area, maybe even as high as 275. That whole area could be, really tough to chew through with how many bag holders are still kind of up there right now. And as you pointed out, as soon as people want to get up here, or as soon as the price gets up here, some people are going to want to get out. So
100%.
We'll see if that ends up happening. Here we are, 220. Your spot exactly. Just hit it.
Oh, wow. I was nice. Very good. Guys, I was actually wrong. If people bought in this area, I said we had 100. I was right. We did have 100% gain from yesterday's close to where we are right now. In fact, it's 117% right now. But if people were holding from over here, let's say they got in at 57 cents a share and we're opening at 220, there's almost 300% return. Again, so many people that were buying in this whole area right here for the past, how long was this? 128 bars, 188 days. People have been bag holding Trib for this big move that was going to come at some point. At least they were hoping, because they were investors in it. They're going to at least take some contracts off. Boom, right above that 221, there's 225 key level. Fantastic, guys. Really good stuff there.
And yes, thank you, Webcoin. A little bit more context here. If I just read a little bit more. They received approval from New York State Department of Health to begin providing preeclampsia testing. So that was, I just only mentioned the FDA approval. It's apparently getting New York State Department of Health approval as well to start using it immediately. So thank you, Webcoin. I missed that. Much appreciated. Yes, awesome. I saw smoked tuna. Absolutely. Multiple 100% runners. What kind of day are we having?
Whoa, 13. I think 13's coffee just hit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not even halfway through the cup. Nice. All right. Now, we got to get to Wolf, because I know that folks have been patiently waiting for that one. So
What are we getting on?
WULF.
Oh, of course. Wolf. Absolutely. And I know the producer's about to run through the monitor and knock me out if I don't cover Wolf right now.
Okay, go for it. Knock it out. Go ahead, and I'll follow up.
Wonderful. Awesome. I'll do a little analysis and you give us our full breakdown. Guys, drop a like, because we have a special guest in the comments right now, Mr. Ryan. Guys, Ryan, what's going on? Hello, Ryan. You just can't take a day off, I guess, can you?
I understand. It's like when you don't come on, it's like you're abandoning family. I get it.
That's awesome. Don't worry, Ryan. I promise they're in good hands. We've been having fun so far. We've almost got 500 viewers here on YouTube. And guys, I know you're missing that like button, because we want to run that up to 150. We want to run that up to 200. We love to see it. Now let's cover Wolf now, guys. Wolf is a big one. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you. Try to take over, man. I got to give them the best that I can do so that they don't miss you too much. But just know we're missing you. All right, so let's take a look at Wolf, WULF. Pull up our chart. Going to Arkansas. Dude, have a great time. Enjoy extra for me as well. Let's start on the daily time frame with Wolf, guys. We see that we had a strong gap up from that previous session close, up 31%. We are up $1.71 on that, from $5.45 to $7.16 right now. Yes, sir. Hit that. Yeah, yo, Ryan, man, got to hit a nice dinger for us. So with Wolf, I have a major resistance point actually coming up right over here near $8. Major resistance, $8 on Wolf. Keep an eye on that. We are continuing. We're only at 730 right now, so we do have some ways to go. That would be another 10%, almost 10% gain on that. We can keep an eye on it. I bring the dingers, no worries. Awesome, man. Awesome. We can check our hourly on this as well. Sort of get an eye, get an understanding. We can throw our volume profile on here. I do want to pull up for trading view on that for our volume profile. So we could put our anchored volume profile right at the beginning of our trend. So we could look to see any low volume shelves. These are the areas I like to look for entries. So right over here, you guys see how these volume shelves, very large volume, 800,000, 800,000, 600,000. Then it falls off to 130,000, right? Then it goes back higher, 500, 400. Our low volume shelves, these over here, only about 100. These tend to be imbalances. So the market didn't give volume and price enough opportunity to fill at that price level. So what we'll see is the market try to return. And we'll draw this out so you guys can see it. Let's see right here. what we'll look for is we'll look for the market to return to this price level, start to add volume. So these volume shelves start to pick up, and then that would be our long position, and we would look to target new high of day, and even possibly with Wolf, might look for that $8 level we had marked out. So that's 8. We're going to mark that out here on TradingView as well. That's what I'm looking for on Wolf right now. I would want to find some continuation. Let's see Wolf on our Benzinga Pro. See if we have any big news coming out. TerraWolf surges 35% as Google takes 8% stake in crypto miner. Pretty big right there, guys. Pretty big. 13, what are your thoughts? What do you say?
Oh, wow. So that looks like that didn't come out too long ago, about 10 minutes ago with that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's some other news that came out earlier this morning around 7:08. But yes, there was a TerraWolf that had signed a 200 plus megawatt 10-year AI hosting agreement with FluidStack. That was the earliest piece of news. Then they also had mentioned that they had secured a long-term ground lease at the Cayuga site to expand high-performance computing infrastructure. And then we get this news that they are going to be, or that Google backstops 1.8 billion of FluidStack obligations in support of the project debt and receives 8% equity stake in TerraWolf. So awesome. 3 different pieces of news. This thing is sending it up. What was that demand zone that you had outlined there? Where did that kind of fall into? What price?
On Wolf, we were looking at 680 to about 690, right below VWAP.
Okay, perfect. Because that is an interesting spot. If you look at the a daily chart, you can see that July 2024. Maybe you use this. July 24. The high there was about that area, about 640 to 650.
Oh yeah.
And if you draw a line at the 930 high, and I don't know that we'll end up getting up there. We could if this is because this seems like some pretty bullish news. We could get up to 930. That was the high from November of last year, and that's an interesting level, especially when you draw a line at 930 and you look to the left and see how much that particular level has dictated the direction of the price. This was a big support area back in 2021 before it rallied.
The 680 point?
The 930.
930. Oh wait,
yeah.
You're looking for resistance. Gotcha.
Well, yeah, because that's the high from November of last year. It was 930. There you go. You're almost there, right? Almost there.
Oh yeah, this one up here.
Yep, that's it. And all I was saying is if you drew the horizontal line there and you looked to the left, like, back to 22, 20, 21, those years, you can see how that level was a very prominent support area prior to the rally when this took off in July of 2021. So look at that. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Exactly. Beautiful. Nice. So very good key level. Very good.
If we do end up going on a bit of a run here, because these things can get pretty wild, that would be where I'd be looking at some pretty stiff resistance. Now, the chance that we get there is still pretty limited because we do have 332 million shares in the float. A little bit heavier, but there is some high short interest as well. Currently, 26.5% of the float shorted with 2 days to cover.
Wow. Guys, we got some requests on some large cap stocks. You guys mind if we cover some Tesla and Amazon?
Let's get it.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. So Amazon was recently requested, and so was Tesla. Now, somebody asks, is Amazon ripping right now because of news? What's going on? Well, there's no news, but there was our PPI data that came out this morning. We could check with our Benzinga Pro Amazon as well to make sure for certain that there's no big news coming out on it. Let's see, 9:10. Amazon Upland Software announces right answers availability in AWS Marketplace. That's not really going to give us that big of an impact. And 8:40, we had some news on AMD, Amazon, and a bunch others. NVIDIA, AMD, China AI chip sales deal with US, a bullish sign for AI-related tech stocks. So that is important to be aware of. That is something that can help give us a move. What's the indicator for the targeting volume Kevin is using? What's up, Jeremy? Good morning. So I'm using that is the volume profile, but what I like to use is on TradingView, and this is the free version of TradingView, so you guys could sign up for free. Is you come over to the left-hand side. Usually it looks like a long position is there. You're going to click the arrow and come down to anchored volume profile. It's a very helpful tool. Wherever you place it, that's where it starts reading the volume. So if I placed it right here, it starts reading the volume at price levels on the whole run up right here. So this is a great tool to use. It gives us an idea of volume and analysis and entries. Back to our analysis on Amazon though. So something I would note is we are near a major key level, 227.15. This was an area of resistance when price was trading below it. And then it worked as an area of support when price was above it. So we see it was resistance 1, 2, 3 times here, 4 times on the daily, really. And then we flipped it and we held it once, twice as support. So right now we're about to open within that zone. So what I would look for on Amazon is if it could open above 227, I'd come for a retest and we'd look for long positions or calls once we retest that zone. Or I would look to see if we open below that zone and use it as resistance. Because at this point too, guys, we have a recent daily high that's right here from August 7th that we might be breaking. A lot of retail might think if we break this level, we're going higher, but we have a resistance point right above it. So we want to be a little extra careful with Amazon. Amazon owns Whole Foods. Who did they purchase? Kroger's? It's a good question. Do you know?
I think EKS was hitting it right. They and this was news from earlier too, not today. Amazon grocery expansion competing with Walmart.
Wow.
That's something that we had got as a headline. I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and this could just be momentum. Now on the technical side, because I think you might see this as well, and you tell me if you like this. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, and I have all the price action from yesterday and all the price action from today. And I can see that we were starting to rise here this morning until we got that PPI print that pretty much knifed us right down to the bottom of this demand zone that was created in the after hours yesterday. It's about 224 where the floor is in that, but you have this demand zone from about 224 to 225 almost. And when we went down into that with PPI. It looks like buyers just stepped right in and just bought that dip, and now we're just rallying back up out of that. I don't know if there was anything else to on the news that did this, but this seems just purely technical to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Somebody was asking where is support for Amazon? So support I would see on Amazon is the price level that Lucky 13 just pointed out, that 224 recent day high. Now, something I like to do, guys, I used to trade large cap stocks all the time. I used to trade options on them. What I would do is I would trade them. New York session opens in 2 minutes, by the way. When I would find my key levels, what I would do is I would turn off my extended trading hours and turn on regular trading hours. What this does is it gets rid of all of the extended hours, because we have to think that nobody's really trading there. There's no real volume. There's no real interest at those price levels. So if I could get the regular trading hours and find some support and resistance there, well, that's going to be a lot stronger than after hours. Look at this area. This was resistance on Amazon. We flipped it. It became support. So very good stuff there. You think Ryan's saying the dip gets bought today, guys. I got to say I'm a little bit in agreement with him. A lot of things are leaning towards the buy side today, whether it's large cap equities. We got AI coming in strong. Absolutely, Brian, you got it, man. That's what we're here for.
Real quick, I got to just get to one or two more movers.
Yeah.
I know, Brent, you were mentioning SNOA. The levels I have for the upside, if we do continue with some more upside, $6 looks like a spot based on some previous price action from last year. We also have $6.65 and $7.25. Those are the levels I'd be looking at for upside. There's going to be some more that we could look at later, but I want to see if we even get through any of those first. But that's what I've got as far as upside resistance areas in SNOA. This one moving on. It's trading higher because it launched an HOCI-based diaper rash product that's now available in 3,600 Walmart stores and online. Smoke Tuna saying not ready for open, and that seems like that's the case because we are kind of leaking here into the open. We have 20 seconds left, so let's. I would just kind of wait SNOA out. Let's see what we end up getting out of the open, and if it sets up a trade for us. But those would be the areas of resistance I'd be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. We did get a request for Tesla as well. We'll do real quick, just some analysis on it, but markets open in 1 second. We don't have time. All right, let's see, guys, how markets open. I'm definitely curious to see how the S&P 500 wants to open today. If we do want to hold this red zone as support, I'll look for, and again, this is where patience comes into the market. I'll wait to see that we hold this zone, that we hold the zone first, close somewhere above it or near VWAP, and then retest it. And we'll take the retest long, put our stop loss at a recent pivot low because we're expecting a higher low to form, and target the higher high or that next supply zone. So that might be a trade setup on the ES here, but we would need to see the break higher first. And that's what's great with a trade setup like this, guys, is without the first breakout, we don't even have an entry. So some people who might try to take the trade right here, right away, they might go long right at open, and then the market goes and stops them out immediately. Whereas if yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
No, but that's okay. I was going to say, if you have a trade setup that requires the market to give you a confirmation that we are, in fact, creating that higher high, we have volume stepping in, whatever the case is, then we have a higher probability setup, and that's what we look for. Go on.
I just wanted to mention XPON out of the gate here. We went down to that 350 level, got support. Now we're back above VWAP, trying to hit that trend line again. As you see in the pre-market, we did go up to that trend line and test it again, but was rejected. That high now 410. Still looking at that trend line as an area of resistance. But if we do break through it, then the next area I'd be looking at is 450.
Nice. I want to see, where's Trib trading at? Ooh, big drop on Trib. There we go. Let's see.
Yeah, I think the thing about Trib is that this had a really nice rally into the open, and that kind of scares me away from stuff like this, especially when it's starting to, put these upper shadows in right before the open. That tends to be a signal that you should just wait this out, let it find its own footing out of the open, and then it will set up the trade.
You know what it is? I would sort of see this as a buy the dip opportunity where we are right here. We did reject that 221 high, but now we are running into this low volume shelf. And as we mentioned before, now we have a bullish volume profile right here where we have low volume to the downside and high volume to the upside. So we have to see this as, okay, buyers are accepting price at a higher level. So with volume moving higher and price was moving higher, we could see if we want to maybe buy the dip down here somewhere. So I would much rather try to look for buying near the lows on a pullback than buying on a breakout. So I do think this is an okay spot to try some Trib. I'm personally not going to. I don't trade penny stocks and stocks like these. I'm a futures trader, but technical analysis over the years does apply to all charts. So again, guys, any chart recommendations, please let us know. Amazon with a big boom. We can see where 229. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
Nice. Look at that, guys. Amazon opened right above that support zone, tapped it, and held. Wonderful.
And it looks like Ryan had a nice trade there with XPON. Now he can get to the airport. And
yeah.
I mean, it's red now, but XPON. What a just. Our levels that we had, that really helped. I had a trade in there just now. I didn't get all the way up to 426. I got stopped out before I got there. But man, what a nice move all the way up to the trend line. Just peeked over it, and now we're losing 350.
Fantastic.
So let's look at some levels to the downside. Next, I've got the 65 EMA. That's at 313. That could be a support level, but I think I'd like the 250. I'm sorry, 295 better. That seems to be a little bit of a better spot. So, and we just went right down to the 265. So we'll see how much more this leaks. But so far, that was a nice little trade there out of the gate. I'm not in XPON right now. I think I'd like to wait for this to find some more of a bottom here, more of a base before we start getting this.
Let's see. Wolf. See what's going on with Wolf. Okay, hey guys, check out Wolf hit our support zone. Good call on Wolf Webcoin. Really great. And look at that. It hit that support. It hit that low volume shelf we had marked out, and it held it. Look at that nice reaction right to it, guys. That is amazing. So we'll see if we want to hold it. Look, so we came into the low volume shelf, and then we held the low volume shelf. See how we formed volume in there? So it's no longer a low volume shelf anymore, which does mean, on the other hand, if we do want to break lower one more time, there's a better chance that we want to continue lower. If we could hold this zone, remember, this was our support zone. We wanted to see if we could hold it and then possibly head towards that $8 mark on Wolf.
We have SNOA also trying to push a little bit higher right now, chewing its way through some of the sideways consolidation it got in the pre-market. It's above our $6 mark that we had mentioned just before the open. We're looking for 665 now. And it looks like it actually might go into a halt here based on the way it's starting to build up shares in one location at 625. Let's see if we get a halt here in just a moment.
Ooh, dude, what a hold, man.
And
what
there it is.
Great level. Did it just get halted?
It did just get halted. So SNOA is now halted to the upside.
Oh, not Wolf though. Okay, that's fine.
Not Wolf. No. Sorry, I have to apologize. I'm really fast and I'm all over the place when it comes to tickers because there's so much stuff to look at. So if I do make a say something that is confusing, just let me know and I'll get it. I'll get the words out correctly.
Yo, you're good, man. You're good. Guys, what a reaction, man. Low volume node, amazing price level. We did our volume analysis on it. We did our news analysis on it. Fantastic hold right there. Ryan saying he hit that as well from my call. 2 for 2. Dude. Absolutely, Ryan. You're killing it even when you're not here.
Oh, he's going to be flying Ryan on the plane.
Yes, sir. Guys, if you're making some money with us this morning, it's only 9:36, 6 minutes into the market open. Hit that like button, guys. We're going for a record today. I want to see over 200 likes today, so let's keep it running. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got 372 votes. Nice. Oh, what was that on our Bitcoin poll from earlier? Fantastic.
Wow. I was watching Bitcoin yesterday. We were talking in the happy hour, the show we do after the market closes, and we were talking about how this was about to hit new all-time highs. What happened? Like this thing, we did hit new all-time highs. Okay, so that happened, and then the market said, okay, perfect, let's sell everything we've got. And now we're back down, giving all that back right into this consolidation from July. Wow. So I did not look at Bitcoin this morning, so that's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, Bitcoin. What it crashed down off? Nice, beautiful. That's what I like to see. I love it when Bitcoin makes a new all-time high and then completely rug pulls everybody breaking out.
It is, Crow. It is. It's quite difficult. So I think we're doing okay. We're doing all right. Wolf, I like this turnaround here. We're still above the VWAP, but we have a big seller in the way at 725. Let's see if we get enough volume to chew through those shares and take them out.
Oh, Lion, man, you're funny, dude. He said, Ryan, make sure to inspect Boeing airplane doors and windows.
That's funny because we did, kind of laugh about that, last year when Brian was going on a plane. And so that's kind of a bit of a thing. That was a great joke, Lion. I appreciate that. A blast from the past joke.
Ryan's going on a flight. We got to go long Boeing.
Oh, well done, Brent. He's and big bear hug mentioning BLSH. This one was we took a look at.
Oh yeah, Bullish, guys. We can't forget Bullish had that great IPO yesterday. We got to see it opened up 11% from previous day's close. Right now we're pretty choppy. I don't really see relative volume stepping in, guys. Look at yesterday when it IPO'd volume, and we're looking at the subgraph down here right now. Look at the difference.
You got the $80 line right there. I saw it too. I was like, that's the spot. $80. Because look at where we went down yesterday, but before we bounced. And then we crashed through the $80 level. Look at what happened in the pre-market. We tried to recapture it. No avail. Yep. Lower we go.
Yep, love it. Absolutely. Guys, coming up at 10 o'clock today, we have the one and only Markets in Mayhem. I told you we had a packed show today, and we're going to have a great show today. Wonderful.
We packed like Ryan's luggage.
Guys,
gosh. Sorry, no, I just
no. You're good, man.
That's a little bit dark there, Ryan Summerall, but I get the joke.
Wait, Ryan, make sure. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow.
A little dark, but I get it.
Yeah, we won't post that onto the stream, but that is definitely. I like the humor. Guys, Wolf, amazing hold off of that 686.90 zone. Now it just hit 734. That's a 7% move right there in just 5 minutes.
And 734 does have a large concentration of sellers. We have some at 730, but not as large as 734, 735. And they are starting to stack up those asks as well. So they are trying to unload this, it looks like. But it could get taken out if the volume is still going to continue to increase. So let's see if we end up getting that. SNOA, waiting for that to unhalt. I didn't note the time that it did, but it seems like there's not a whole lot left until this unhalt. So I'd be keeping an eye on that one as well.
We could take a quick dive at Boeing. We could take a quick flight to Boeing.
Yeah, we can look at some of those that and Tesla too.
Yeah.
now that we've gotten a lot of that first 10 minutes of excitement out of the way there.
Yep. Let's see. So Boeing has a little bit, we have a gap on Boeing, right? So a lot of times traders like the gap fill trading strategy. They'll wait for us. They'll say, okay, we have a gap from 233 to 249. If we could get back above 233, I'm going to take it long and target 249. My opinion, these gaps should be seen more as resistance points, where if we come into it, we should look to find sellers. And that's usually what we end up getting, because these gaps happen when there's an imbalance in the market. Nobody was able to fill any trades on Boeing from 249 to 233 from this Friday to the next Monday. So as soon as the market re-enters, they're finally able to fill their orders, and they're most likely shorts because price is currently below those levels. And that's what gave us a nice reaction. So Boeing is in a bit of a range. Lows around 215, highs around 235. Into the future, you got it. Bitcoin breaking support. Of course it is. Nice sell-off on Bitcoin. SNOA.
Yep. I typed that because I didn't want to interrupt you. So we did get the SNOA open. We did go up to that 665. It backed off at first, and then it printed above it. But now we're still back beneath it here, trying to chew its way through this pre-market consolidation between 665 and 725. That's currently keeping it down, but we do have some comments in here regarding this. Smoketon is saying not enough volume, but the Crow mentioning that does have room to run. So right now we're getting pulled back down here, and it looks like it's going to halt to the downside. So no position in this right now. I think I'm just going to just wait and see what we end up getting out of this halt. If we do crash down here beneath the lowest print of the regular session, I think we're going to want to take a look at the $5 and maybe even the 200 EMA as the next support area.
Awesome. I just want to do a quick coverage, guys, for anybody trading SPY and QQQ. We're going to cover the NQ, which is the futures, NASDAQ, QQQ. They do trade together, and the ES, which is the S&P 500. And the reason I want to cover them is because we had that big sell-off from PPI at 830. Something to point out, guys, is NASDAQ is now a lot closer to filling. This is called a data candle, right? A data candle, and it gives us a high, it gives us a low, and it gives us a range to trade off of. So a lot of times when this happens, the market will then go and take one side out and then reverse to the other side. So something I would like to see is if NASDAQ wants to break that high and reverse back lower, while the ES, the S&P 500, is not really close to that price level yet. So if ES fails out of this demand zone like it already has, we might be seeing some downward price action, but that does require equities to go bearish as well. Remember, Amazon is rallying right now. Apple, little bit of a standstill. It's struggling with that previous day high right here where we wicked it, but then we rejected it. Now, remember, we took out previous day high, so the odds are in our favor that we close green on Apple today. So we can keep a look at that. You say data.
XPON. We're getting asks about XPON. This thing's starting to get some more volume again. We're approaching the session highs real fast, right up to that trend line again. We break through this trend line. I'm looking at 450, and then after that, 565. Ooh. So nice. It looks like so. To answer a couple questions with the thought on XPON, this one this is moving on Q2 financial results, and they achieved some really good sales growth in the last quarter. So that's why it's moving now. Does this have legs? Possibly. But it doesn't look like we're there quite yet. I think we need to see better volume than this before we start getting up into the 5 area. Plus, there's also a big seller in the way of 4.
Yep. Yeah, XPON, man, nice support off of that VWAP, off of that 320 area. Definitely struggling, though. Remember, guys, when we're looking at a chart like this, we don't want to try to buy the highs up here. Because right now, the only thing the market is telling us about these highs is that sellers are here. So we don't want to buy the highs without a proper breakout above them first, and then a reclaim of that level. And the reclaim is where we take her long.
Great mention of ONDS WIS. Looks like it did just rise up right into the consolidation from the after hours going into the pre-market trading this morning. We have a high in that range of 369. And that might be the area where it has some difficulty getting through. Now, if it does manage to get through there, we can infer the next upside resistance based on where we were hitting the highs yesterday. And that's going to be at about from 375 to 380. So it'll be the next one.
Awesome. ONDS looking good. I want to take a quick look back at Wolf, see how Wolf is holding up.
All right.
Damn, look at that, man. Fantastic. Right off 680. Trading right now back to 728. Looking like it's definitely trying to make its way back higher on the daily time frame. We were looking for volume to pick up. Guys, look at
Mhm.
that daily time frame. Volume is picking up on the daily, and it's only been 15 minutes into the New York session. I think Wolf has what it takes to continue higher today. I think it has what it takes to go hit that $8 mark.
They're currently placing some. They just took out the 735 seller. There's a big seller at 750. Let's see if we can get some more volume expansion and whip him into shape too.
There we go. There we go. Guys, hit that like button, man. If you're learning something today, we got some good tickers. We got some amazing price levels. We had this great entry price on Wolf from my call out. We had that other call out from 13. Which one was that?
The XPON?
XPON. Yup, that's right, XPON. So Wolf and XPON have been killing it today here at the Benzinga show, guys.
Looks like Trib's still having a hard time. It lost VWAP, tried to recapture it for about 10 minutes to no avail, and now we're heading lower. So this might be going right almost back to where it started. We have the 65 EMA on the 5 minute in the way at 125. There could be some support about 140 if this 150 area doesn't hold, but so 140, 150, and then right and beneath those 125. Next areas of support for Trib.
Yeah, Trib really might. If I'm throwing my fib tool up here, Trib does look like it's trying its best to get towards that 78% fib level, which is around 134. Again, when we're looking at volume, we are still trading into some low volume shelves, so I wouldn't look for shorts at this point, but I also wouldn't look for longs right now because clearly bears have taken control since the market opened. But if we're looking for overall trend, it has been trying to break higher. So this is a trade that I would really say to be patient on. Possibly look for 150 is a key psychological level. We can mark that out. And then 130 as well.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that, Smoke Tuna. Just I don't remember you saying it doesn't perform well. You might have said that, but this one was looking like it was getting really extended into the open. Not something we really wanted to see. But if this doesn't trade or perform very well, then maybe there's some better ones we can take a look at.
Yep. Let's see. HTOO on radar. HTOO. HOT. Oh, nope. I spelled it wrong. HTOO.
XPON still hanging out up here in the fours, in the low fours, trying to get through some of these highs and that trend line. Let's see what we get here. I don't think this is quite done yet.
Yo, oh my goodness. Really quick, somebody mentioned CSCO. So Cisco was in our morning prep, right? So Cisco Q4 earnings, revenue beat, earnings per share beat, strong guidance, and company sees a massive AI infrastructure opportunity ahead. That alone, if they didn't even have earnings and they just announced company sees massive AI infrastructure opportunity ahead, I know that that's a strong supporter for the company because AI chip companies, they have been exceedingly strong the past few years. We're not in a dot-com bubble, we're in the AI bubble. We're going. We don't even know if it's a bubble. It's keeping markets stable. So what do? As traders, we follow that trend. So company sees massive AI infrastructure. They had a double beat on their earnings. When we came over to Cisco this morning, I had a zone. Look at this zone I had marked out, guys, from this morning's pre-market, 67.51. Look at the exact price level we tapped today as a low, 67.49, right into that zone, man. Right into that zone, held it right up. Amazing price level, great analysis, and right from our article this morning. Really cool there.
Excellent. Looks like Wolf. I think we got some support. Let's see if we can get a little bit more volume expansion and go up and take out that seller at 746.
Oh, nice. Love to see it, man. Wolf, fantastic.
SNOA is trying to recover the VWAP right now. They've got a seller in the way at 610. And then you have XPON that's trying to get some support from VWAP and turn around here and recapture 4.
That is awesome. Guys, we have markets and mayhem coming up very soon. Let's run up to 200 likes before he gets on, guys. He's getting on at 10 o'clock. We got 10 minutes. We're only I'd say about 10, 20 likes away from hitting 200. Hit that button. I do appreciate it. We put a lot of time, effort, and a lot of our own personal experience into our analysis to give you guys some of the best setups and good trade opportunities for free here on YouTube. So a simple like, a wonderful comment, all we ask, and we do appreciate it.
Maverick mentioning KTOS. This is having some movement here. They have a headline that says U.S. drone land surveying market expect to reach 6.59 billion by the end of 2033. They also got an upgrade and it had a price target announced, an announcement of 80 by BTIG. They also, so that's what's moving here today. We got an upgrade and an $80 price target. So we are at 72 right now.
Nice. Yo, you guys are quick with the likes, man. Now we're only 7 likes away. We were at 172 and now boom, 193. You guys are the best. You guys are better than I am. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Roll out that red light carpet.
Yeah, right. Fantastic, guys. Kratos Defense and Security. Great call on that. Who called that out? Maverick. Fantastic. Good momentum on it. They had their news like 13 just mentioned. U.S. drone land surveying market expected to reach 6.59 billion by end of 2033. So they have a little time on it, but it's still a good article. Still good news for the company. Go SPX. Somebody said SPY is doing well. That would be, remember we were looking for ES longs. That would be SPX or SPY. Right off of our demand zone. And how do you like them apples? We got those long positions, ended up continuing out of that demand. That is fantastic, guys. All of our trade setups, all of our analysis, boom, 200 likes. Give yourself a round of applause. But all of our analysis, all of our levels, we take our time, we find our zones, we find our price levels, and we are killing it today, guys. Absolutely.
And we have a mention of XOS as well. This one had better than expected Q2 financial results and issued fiscal year 2025 sales guidance with its midpoint above the estimate. So something that we've been observing is, it's not so much what they do with their earnings report, but how they guide, what's coming up that is interesting the investors and helping push stocks higher. And with a guidance being higher than expected, especially when the midpoint it's higher than the midpoint, then you've got yourself a nice move here. The fact that it has 7% short interest does help. It's a lot of days to cover with almost 13 and a half. But I think that the real big news is, the big thing that's driving this is the better than expected sales guidance.
Fantastic. This is which ticker?
This is XOS.
XOS, awesome. Somebody else was also asking about MSOS. Now, I know MSOS wasn't a big mover today. However, it was on our list a few days ago, right? We had a big gap up right here. It gapped up 9%, and then it continued that day. So it had a gap and go. So seeing that it had a gap and go, it has volume starting to pick up here. Something I would look for on MSOS would be a break of that previous day high around 530. If we are able to break above that, I would like to see us head towards 549, guys. So remember we were talking about the gaps before? Well, here's a gap on MSOS, and we're going to be trading into it hopefully today. But if we do, and that's the case, this might be a good short opportunity on MSOS with that gap fill short trades strategy that I showed you guys earlier.
Now with XOS, I don't like the series of wicks that we're getting here over the past 15 minutes on a 5-minute chart. These 3 candles here are a little concerning. And we do have a high of 595 in the pre-market. We're not too far away from that, but we did have a high a little bit earlier than that, about 571. So what's up?
No, we'll finish on XOS, but one we didn't go over yet was DLO, D-Local. Okay. That was a big one too. But let's finish XOS. Appreciate you, 13, man.
No, but yeah, it just looks like XOS is having a bit of a hard time reaching these highs that it had in the pre-market. So we're going to need to see a little bit more volume expansion. I would like to see a prints over 6 and start to see these candles close over that. Before I feel really good about this, because this could turn around and lose VWAP on us pretty easily.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, ES making its way towards that data high. Very good.
On this with another big move. We have taken out the pre-market highs.
Oh, where we are? Which ticker?
This is ONDS. We are approaching the high from yesterday in the regular session, which is 379. We are really close to that.
I see that. I see why you guys like this one. Fantastic. Good. What's it called? Good price action within it.
XPON says Smoke Tuna. Certainly, we are moving back up towards 4. It looks like 4 is giving it a hard time.
Such a hard time.
Yeah, but if we break through 4, then I think we're going to see that those the break of the trend line, the 450, maybe even some $5 prints. But let's see here. We do need some better volume than this, I think. Wolf, on the other hand, still grinding slowly higher.
Yeah.
Higher the pre-market 770. We're not quite there yet, and we think that 760 might be even a bit of resistance. I see that on the price ladder here. It's got to chew its way through 750, where there's a big seller.
Wow, that's fantastic, guys. Wolf was our A+ entry setup over here today. Fantastic, Wolf, and I keep forgetting the other one from before. I think it was Ondis that you had. No,
we were looking at Ondis. We were looking at XPON.
Right.
Yep. And then I guess we're still kind of looking at SNOA, but this one has not been working out too well since it had that move that took it up almost to 7. This losing VWAP, losing a lot of different EMAs. The only one that's beneath this area here where it's now halted is 200 EMA, which is at 470. So
yeah, I'd probably leave SONA alone at this point. That was a massive gap up. And look at the crazy wick we created on it too. That's a leave alone trade right there.
Yeah, maybe this is one of the ones that comes back later in the day and does better. But for now, I think this is there's better things that we can be trading. So let's look elsewhere.
Yep. Let's see. Bullish, pretty sideways price action. I mentioned earlier how our volume has not been picking up like it was yesterday. Yesterday was the IPO, so volume was extremely high. We were looking for some follow through today, and it is barely giving us that. I did have a mark of the $80 level as a pre-market high and a key psychological level. We were looking for a break. If we do get that break, I would want to make sure volume is picking up on our lower time frame on the breakout, and that might be a pretty nice trade right there to possibly target $90, 80 to 90. On is tanking, ON. Take a look at that.
Apparel company.
I believe so.
Yep.
So let's see.
Down over 5% on.
What is it? Down. What'd you say? Down over 5%? Yep, down over 5% right now. If we look at our daily time frame, and guys, we have Mr. Markets and Mayhem, our robotic trader friend, joining us very shortly in about 3 minutes. Appreciate you all for spamming that like button, man. We're at 216 right now. I love to see it. Let's go hit 250 for him. Let's see. So on, we did have this resistance point. Let's see if we have any support down here.
There's lots of different analyst ratings that have come out. Well, it came out yesterday. I don't see any news today, but I don't see. Yeah, I just see analyst ratings. So I'm not exactly sure if there's what is pulling this down. Maybe it just could be some shareholder exhaustion. I don't know, but this had a lot of different price targets. One of which Jefferies downgraded to hold and from hold to underperform, lowering its price target to 40. That might be what is pulling this down. Crow mentioning Newegg too. That has been another good ripper too. I'm gonna take a look at that one while you.
Which one? Neg? NEGG?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
if you guys hit that like button, drop a yes, sir.
Yep. And on this thing is just nonstop. I think we're about to hit the high from yesterday. Maybe we even see 4 if we continue with this kind of movement. Great stuff in ONDS.
Fantastic. Palantir short squeezer. We'll take a look at Palantir, man. That thing's been ripping, dude. I mean, I remember when it was at 100 and people were like, should I still buy it? Is it overbought? Is it going to keep going? It's like, yeah, if it's a good AI company, apparently it could just keep going forever. But Palantir, man, let's check this out. 13, what are your thoughts on Palantir before we start breaking it down?
Oh, man, this thing is just really overvalued, but as a very wise gentleman told me, there's really no way to get a correct valuation on AI right now because it's still growing, it's still expanding. There's so many different applications across so many different industries that can use it. So it could be anything, and that's probably one of the reasons why we're seeing these out of control valuations in all the AI names. But that's really all I've got to add when it comes to Palantir. I don't know where this thing stops.
Yeah, Palantir is. I don't think anybody knows where Palantir is going to stop. But obviously, guys, if we are following this trend, it would be a buy the dip opportunity. Wouldn't be buy the rip, right? Because we don't want to get caught up on a breakout. So we could be a little patient on that. But I would like to see it pull back towards that 160 area to fill this gap imbalance right here.
And there we go. Big move in XPON right up to that trend line. We are getting some massive moves here. Just out of nowhere.
Go.
Out of nowhere.
There we go.
Right up to that 450, a little bit higher. It looks like 475 was the high print. Now we are really selling off.
Whew. Here comes some volatility. Be careful.
It's almost like we're in that seasonality, you know. Wow. Okay. So big moves there in XPON. Hopefully, people got some nice profit out of that. Great stuff.
Yeah, guys, this pullback that we just had, this is where I would look for an entry on XOM because we already had the breakout and the volume was picking up on the breakout. If you want to be a bit more of a careful trader, you could wait till this candle tries to flip back green as well and volume increases too, but we could be a little patient right here.
All right, so we are still getting some more upside in ONDS, but right now it seems like it's still struggling with the high 380s right now. 382 is the current high. Lots of sellers in the way up from here to 390. Nope, there we go, chewing through more of those. So it's still grinding higher. Probably going to end up seeing a little bit more resistance as we approach 4. That was the big level that the daily chart was showing. And I think we may end up getting a revisit of that resistance as well.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Big B's done for the day. LLY off the bottom of the morning. 100% gainer. Good job, man. Congrats.
Big B's has been all over the health insurance trade. He's absolutely nailed UNH to the downside, and I think some bounces as well. And the Eli Lilly being kind of the best in breed for those weight loss drug stocks. That's another one he's been trading, been killing it there as well. Well done, Big B's. Have a great rest of your day.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. No better way to enjoy your day than after a great trading session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Guys, it is 10:02. We can take a look, see we have Mr. Markets and Mayhem joining us very shortly. I don't see him in our backstage just yet, but he should be here soon. Wolf is continuing higher, guys, breaking that 750 area. Fantastic. Really trying to make its way to $8. That's right, Smoke Tuna. We had a fantastic setup on Wolf today. Bullish is at $80. Wow.
We're at the big area where there's a lot of sellers at 750. It's now moved up to 752. Huge amount of sellers. I think that if this gets taken out, this large concentration of shares, we could see a pretty sizable move up beyond 770.
That looks good. Guys, wait a minute. Do you hear that? Beep, beep, beep. I think I hear our robotic friend here. Guys, hit that like button. Welcome on Mr. Markets and Mayhem. Markets and Mayhem, it's nice to meet you. We've never hosted or had a show together. My name is Kevin. So great having you on, though. I have seen your segments here with Ryan.
Hey, Kevin, I'm eagerly processing this new human to robot relationship we're forming here. This is awesome stuff. Great to be on the show. Hey, 13, how you doing
man?
Today?
Oh, doing great. Good to have you back here, man.
Great to be on with you all.
Awesome. What are you looking at today? Did you take any trades so far? Are you looking at anything in particular?
Right now, I'm mostly taking a look around the markets, looking for setups and opportunities out there. I've got my eye on some of the commodities space, so I'm watching what's going on in silver and palladium and gold. And then I'm also watching crude oil as it's, overall, it's been slipping lower and lower. A little bit of a bid today, maybe a reoffer zone for getting into some short side exposure on that area. And then also watching the Russell 2000. We've had a big short squeeze play out there and in some of the other heavily shorted areas. Now starting to see signs of reversal after that hot PPI this morning.
Yep. Absolutely. Good. Great stuff. Yeah, absolutely awesome.
That IWM movement yesterday got to be all on the rate cut expectations. And then you see that coming in today because the PPI kind of cooled off those expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Just a little,
Small reaction.
we are still so we have 2 stocks halted now. XOS after so I was a little bit concerned about those upper shadows, and sure enough we lost that VWAP here. We are halted to the downside, so we'll see what we end up getting out of the halt here. But SNOA reversing, trying to push higher. We are halted at the VWAP right now to the upside, so that's going to be halted for probably about 10-15 minutes. I think this is the
good SNOA to give us a reversal finally.
Well, we'll have to see if there's any follow through here. I want to see after some of these sideways consolidation levels from the pre-market because we are still trading beneath that.
That's awesome. Something I've noticed, and Markets and Mayhem, you let me know too. So I'm a futures trader. I'm always looking for things like gold, S&P 500, NASDAQ, oil as well. But something I've really noticed with oil this year in particular is since the mention of tariffs, since the whole trade deal situation started with the U.S. threatening to tariff Canada, threatened tariff Mexico, when that all started, I felt like the gold market just sort of, it dumped like crazy, which gave us some great sell opportunities. But since then, I feel like oil has been giving us zero continuation anywhere. Like some of the worst price action I've personally seen on oil in a long time.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I feel like it's largely a very, very boring downtrend. If we zoom out on an oil chart and look at it on the weekly, it seems like it's lower highs and lower lows really since 2022's peak. And
Yep.
we see more signs that OPEC Plus is going to overwhelm supply. Whether or not that ends up being true is a whole other story. That's the narrative that the market's buying into right now. And on the other side of it, we do have some signs of concern regarding economic slowing. The jobs data continues to suggest that. And we're past peak travel season, which was a tailwind for oil, and it really didn't do much for it. So it's hard not to get past that negative momentum and look for new lower lows in crude oil.
Awesome, man. I like that. I like that breakdown. Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing, right? We see consistency. We see that every time sellers do take control, they're a lot more violent. There's a lot more volume to the downside than when we chop our way back to the upside. But it's failing to continue. Every time it breaks below that 60, like a month ago in April, it kept failing to continue lower. It's really a tough point between 60 and 75.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've got a major pivot level at 65.05 as well. Every time it gets above that, we see a little bit of continuation to the upside. But that last pop we had when we broke above 65.05 took us right to the 200-week moving average. And we got a solid rejection there. And it feels like to me, any pop that gets up to that level this year gets sold because we saw the same thing in January as well.
Wow. Awesome, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Mr. Markets and Mayhem is dropping some great stuff for us, as per usual, and we love to see it. Are you seeing anything on gold lately? I know myself, I usually like to keep an eye on the dollar. Obviously, PPI coming in is giving us a bit of an impact. I like gold rejected. We have a range high on the daily time frame since April between 32.60 to 35.20, and we just rejected off of that 35.20. It looks like we are trying to bear flag on the daily and now break lower today. In fact, it looks like we're breaking lower right now.
Great mention by Pro when it comes to ETFs you can trade for on the oil. DRIP is a 3x short versus the 3x bullish, which is Gush. Great mention there, Pro. Sorry, Mayhem, get in there.
Oh, no, you're good. And actually, as we were talking, I just got a large sell iceberg alert on gold. So there's that.
Nice.
But I look at gold this way, and it's kind of nuanced, but I swing trade gold more than day trade it. I just love it as a swing vehicle because it's pure momentum meets psychology. And the way that I look at gold is through Bollinger Band squeeze breakouts, right? And this works for Bitcoin as well. So the idea is you have a long period of consolidation, then you have this period of volatility expansion, and that tends to give you a sense of directionality. For gold, we've had that Bollinger Band squeeze to breakout play. And let me see if I can put together a quick chart that I can share with you all. But that's still in effect. So I'm still of the mind that we could consolidate here. We may even correct a bit after such a crazy move. But I think overall, the path of least resistance for gold is going to be meaningfully higher. And I'm still looking for potentially 4,000 later this year or early next. Fed cuts are bullish for gold. A slowing economy is bullish for gold. The idea that we're going to continue this, nothing stops this train deficit spending is bullish for gold. And so is overall uncertainty. So there's a lot of tailwinds. Doesn't mean we can't get some pullbacks, but I'd see those pullbacks as buying opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. Great breakdown on gold. Somebody asked if I could do the volume analysis. What's up, Ray? Asked if I could do volume analysis on Bull, BUL. That is Webull. Do a quick analysis on that. We do see that Webull sort of stalled out. I'm not a big fan of Webull. Markets and Mayhem 13. I'll cover this real quick, and then we'll go over back to some movers and whatnot. So I'm looking at Bull. First thing I see right away is price action has been extremely range bound. There is no true volume picking up. We had true volume pick up on this breakout right here on July 18th, and it was met with a rejection, right? It failed. Something I would like to see on bull would be a strong break above that $20 level, key psychological level. It also gives us some room from our recent pivots as well, so it's a smart level to look at, and could look to target then that 32, which is our next pivot high on the daily. All right, Markets of Mayhem 13, what do we got going on?
So I just
go first, sir? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, 13.
No, I was going to say, would you like to go ahead? I want to hear you first.
Okay. I just shared a chart of the Bollinger Band squeeze breakout for gold. Just to quickly pop back to that, if you could put that on screen, I can kind of explain what's going on here. So what we have with this chart, if you look at the area where there's that red square, that's where we saw the squeeze, right? This is where volatility compresses, where you see consolidation. These squeezes, when Bollinger Bands come together, and you can see it on the top chart too, with that bandwidth narrowing to the lower end of its range, that's giving you a sense that there's a squeeze playing out. The longer the squeeze, the more that coiled spring is creating energy that will later be released in a directional price move. And we can see once those bands started to expand, you had a very powerful move in gold that is continuing to play out here. So for me, I still very much see this as a Bollinger Band squeeze breakout. What would have me concerned is if the bands start coming in more and more as a trend, and we see a cross below the 50-week moving average. Those two things would have me looking at the trade much differently. But for right now, I think we're consolidating. It's healthy. You don't want to see gold go parabolic. That's what happens before it crashes. And so to see some consolidation instead, kind of build a giant stair-step pattern higher, that to me is healthy and tells me we could still have higher highs. So that was my Bollinger Band squeeze breakout primer specific to gold. You can apply the same strategy to Bitcoin.
Awesome. Nice. Dude, that's cool.
We just had a big move in XPON that took us up to 5. It's trying to go higher. Next target 565. It looks like we're headed there. Look at this big move in XPON.
Oh man, guys, what is that? 3 great setups we gave you guys today. Now we got XPON a couple times, Wolf a few. We could take a look at Wolf. I think Wolf ended up pulling back.
XPON best mover so far today. Absolutely
nice.
Wolf hasn't. We did get that pullback in Wolf out of the gate, but we are still kind of holding up here. It's just that we're having a hard time getting through this 760, 770 area because there's that seller in the way at about 750. He's still there, but not as much size before. So they are chewing through those shares. Don't know if we just have enough volume to get through all of that because that is a large amount of shares to get through. But real quick on Webull, there was the ticker BULL. This is one that I've been watching and I'm in currently. I'm still looking for prints to 18 and beyond because this has been doing a very good job of mirroring the price action that it had on the way down. Now we to the point that was made earlier, there is some stalling out here in this, and we are still in a bit of an uptrend off the lows. So for me, if I'm continuing to remain in this until I get stopped out. My stop is going to be at about 1420, and if we haven't been down there yet out of this reversal from August 1st. So far so good, but we are trading beneath the 20-day SMA, and we are on the doorstep of 15 here, just a little bit above it. So we got to make sure we hold 15 and get back above that 20-day SMA. We have been getting multiple rejections at 16, which is not great for my trading thesis here. But until we get stopped out, I'm still looking for a print up to 18 and maybe as high as 20.
Yep. Absolutely. We got a lot of rejection near that $17, $18 area, like you mentioned. So I would be careful. We'd look to, if you're a long-term investor in it, then yes, buying down here to long-term hold would be ideal. Because yes, I'm sure at some point, if Webull stays as a strong platform, it's a broker, they do well, then yes, we will eventually get to 20 to 30, but we're not going to get it to it in one day. That's why it's a long-term investment. So we look for a buy and hold. But as a buyer and holder, we would want to buy near these lows and be okay if it moves down against us for a little bit because we're looking to hold it for the long term. And the long term is if it could get back to that $33 mark from just April of this year, it looks like 2025, that's a 100% return from where we're currently trading at.
Yeah, Don't know. I don't think it's going to do the same things that Hood did. We kind of already had some of that ridiculous price action earlier in the year in April, where this thing ran all the way up to 80. But I'm not expecting that out of Bull. I just think that we could, at the very least, get some of that movement back over 18 in the very similar way that it came down, and we did so far. It's been mirroring it pretty well, and the market doesn't, doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme, and we're getting a pretty good rhyme out of Bull here.
I like 13. I like that, man. Market doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it certainly does.
It definitely has rhythm to it.
if you've been trading the market long enough, you'd be like, I've seen this before.
I've seen that.
I've seen this happen before.
That's funny. I like what I'll say, guys, we look for the trend in the market. Now, the trend doesn't have to be bullish or bearish, but the trend could be the patterns we see in the market, right? If we see that the S&P 500, we're futures traders, and for the past 2 trading days, we're choppy in the morning, but then power hour gives us a move, well, then let's be ready for that following day to most likely give us similar price action if we're in the same market sentiment. It's not copying itself. It's not giving us exact price action every day, but it's giving us a rhyme.
Market, what are you looking at today that's interesting to you?
Well, I just saw some pretty big sweeps coming through for FUTU, FUTU, maybe a sympathy play with some of these other online brokers. And they're targeting $210 a share. The last one came through with about a 2.5 vol to OI ratio, and it's currently trading around 176. So it's interesting to watch this. If we did see that play out, we'd be talking about this thing getting to new all-time highs. I think the last closing high on this thing was just shy of 200.
We have all-time highs in FUTU from February of 2021. It looks like the all-time high. Yeah, so that I totally see 200 being on deck here with this trajectory that we've got going on. But I do see your point about there being some resistance. Like it seems like about 181, 182 is about that area before we hit 200.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and I'm just checking the gamma profiles on this one as well.
Awesome, guys. Wolf ended up holding like 13 pointed out, though, ever since around 950, 955, we sort of have been stalling out off of the 750 area. That would be my first take profit, right? $7.50, $8, anything by a 50-cent interval for these smaller stocks. Wolf Flush could come back. FUTU call wall. Let's take a look at that. Wonderful.
These are fantastic.
Yeah, these are cool.
There we go. So that gives us an idea. Go ahead, Market.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say that's an area where we've seen the majority of call-driven exposure. So often it turns to resistance. And what we really want to see is whether positions continue to roll up. We have seen some roll higher to 185. We're watching those 190 and 200 strikes for continuation. And some of that flow today also building that position into the 210 strike, which is just near the top of that chart. So worth watching, but I feel like it's a sympathy play with what's going on with Bull, with Robinhood, and some of these others. This is a Hong Kong-based broker, but it's catching a similar move. I mean, this thing is up almost tenfold from its lows in 2022, 2023.
Nice. And this is on FUTU, guys. FUTU.
We are getting another flag here on the XPON. This is still doing really good. 550, the current high. I got 565 as my next resistance area. Seems like we're kind of hitting some resistance, but if we manage to push through this, I just looked and to see where there's another level. Not with the $6 psychological level withstanding. The next level above that I see that we could run into resistance is 650.
Awesome, guys. If we do get that break above 182.04 is our all-time high on that stock we just mentioned, FUTU, FUTU. Let's see, XPON still continuing, Wolf continuing as well, WULF. Let's see what else we got cooking in here.
Oh, yeah. Wolf looks like that's... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. Yes, coming up on a kind of an important level. There's a pivot at 64.85 that I just popped in there. And the reason I'm sharing this is these pivots tend to be quite actionable. We're actually testing it right now. If we do get a break above, I'd look for continuation to 64.96.25. That's where the second most active call striker on the chart, the warm call. and Key2 plus confluence area is. So we're testing that level. We're seeing a little bit of resistance. The move so far looking just a little bit extended if you look at the momentum subchart peaking to red. But I think overall, flows suggest the path of least resistance here is likely to be higher. We just need to build above this pivot and have some acceptance for about 5 minutes or so. So another candle closing above there would likely have us getting to that 64.95 or 96.25.
That is awesome, guys. And look at, for a second, real quick, take a look at this chart, right? This is the ES futures. We see it with the put wall. We see the key level, volume trigger. We see all of Mr. Market and Mayhem's levels with the gamma and all of, it's gamma and what else is it?
We've got gamma, and we've also got volume and price action analysis. So the pivots are derived from that. And then we have gamma levels and live flow coming in from SPX, and we delta convert that to ES levels in real time as well. And then we have some indicators on there that are kind of neat. If you look at the little triangles that are blue and magenta, I've added those recently. Those are fair value gap indicators that are both bullish or bearish. So you can see just before that big roll lower, there was a bearish fair value gap. And just around the time we were bottoming, we had a bullish fair value gap. So those can be helpful for watching for reversals or trend continuation as well.
That is awesome. So the reason I wanted you guys to take a quick brief look at where his levels line up is I'm going to show you guys my analysis this morning from the ES and those long entries. And it's going to look practically identical to where these levels are lining up. So we see, we'll pull up the ES real quick, and we could see on the 5 minute that, look, we had our demand zone down here on ES from this morning. We had our supply zone at 64.96, and I believe that's exactly where, let's see, 64.96, where was that wall?
Great call. 64.96.25 is Key2 plus. Yep.
Look at that. Perfect, guys. So now it's a higher probability price level because I was able to find my own analysis at this level. And now we're also able to find the call walls and our other key volume levels too. So volume should be what we use to help confirm our technical analysis levels.
Great call, chat, especially you, Smoke Tuna, on Wolf coming up to that 770 area. That's looking like the breakout spot. If we can get over it, it looks like it might happen, but we need some more volume to get through these walls of sellers around that area. So we could back off from this area, but great call on this upside movement.
Bro, yeah, that's fantastic, man. Wolf, great movement right off that 680 from our pre-market analysis plan, right off 680, making its way towards that $8. Here's some live SPX flow brought to us by the one and only Markets and Mayhem. Thank you very much, sir.
You got it, my friend. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more demand starting to grow at the 64.90 strike here this morning. Overall, across the chain, flows are balanced, but what I really like to look at is the top two calls and the top two puts. And right now, the top two calls, about 32,000 volume versus the top two puts, about 24,000. So that's enough, again, to give bulls a bit of an edge here. So I like what I'm seeing in the flow. Shifting over quickly to Wolf, on my screen, I'm just looking at this through Bookmap. That's a pretty big offer level at $8, about 176,000 shares on offer there. So that could be an area where you see some resistance once you get into that. You're really going to want to see how it reacts. Auction theory kind of tells us if buyers have enough demand, they're going to take that level out and there's going to be continuation. But if you see hesitation there and it rolls lower, that gets me a little more concerned about the potential for it to continue moving higher.
Dude, that is fantastic. Guys, add Trib to the list today on stocks that we had a good analysis on, because remember, we had our volume profile. It was low volume to the downside, higher volume to the upside. So we said we'd only be interested in long positions down here. If you were watching this whole time and you saw price start to base out over here, this would have given you a fantastic long opportunity with a stop at a recent low. And you would still be in this trade to possibly target new high a day around 240. Myself, I usually like to target maybe the point of control on our volume profile that we're using. Would you mind explaining your pre-market analysis on Wolf? Yeah, absolutely. So Wolf, let's see. So Wolf on the daily time frame is what really got me. So Wolf had a nice gap up from previous day's close, gapped up about 30%. And something I wanted to watch was if news could help us follow through on gold. Now we could pull up our, let's see, Benzinga Pro, pull up Wolf. Now I believe we also had news, 13, wasn't there news on Wolf this morning?
Yes, let me just pull that up and I can tell you what that was.
Right, Google.
Yeah, the Google, they had several different things going for it. It had the 8% Google stake. It had the announcement of the 200 plus megawatt 10-year AI hosting agreement with FluidStack, and it had a long-term ground lease at the Cayuga site to expand their high-performance computing infrastructure. So several things happening there on the piggyback of the high short interest, which is 26.5% of the float shorted, with 2 days to cover.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So Wolf continuing, it's heading towards that $8. There's $7.75. Fantastic. Where did you say upside target wise?
For Wolf, we just kind of moved past it. The next one, the pre-market one, but after this, I'm looking at 850. But that comes with a bit of an asterisk. We need some better volume than this to get up there, because if we don't start expanding some more, I think we might have a hard time reaching that target. But that's where I see the next big area of resistance.
Awesome.
Trib, look at this, right back up to this. Oh my gosh, the pre-market highs. This is probably going to halt.
Oh, Trib.
And it's halted.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Wow, man. We're banger after banger after banger today, guys. Nothing but the best for the best, and that's you guys here on our Benzinga channel. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Make sure you're running that like button up, guys. I do think we smashed that record today. We're sitting at 234 likes. That is fantastic. And tomorrow, guys, I'll be back again covering for Ryan. So make sure you guys bring on the trading, bring on the energy, man. It's Friday tomorrow.
Knocking on the door of 4 is ONDS, and then we also have XPON. After hitting that 550, we did get a little bit of a back off, but it found some support around 475, a little bit higher than that, and it's trying to push back up to that 565 area that I see the resistance. So that's just beyond the 550. We do still have some sellers stepping in the way of that upside. We have them starting to load up around 525 right now and 530.
Awesome, guys. Take a look. We have our gamma wall here on Wolf Markets and Mayhem. Do you want to give us a little analysis breakdown on this?
Yeah, of course. So we're just looking at wall hopping that $7 call wall. That's been a pretty key area of resistance here, moving above it and on a closing basis, particularly if we can get to a nice even $8 handle or above, would put 10 into view. And then we want to continue to watch the chain for roll higher. So, just looking at that from an options perspective, that's where the interest levels are. It's encouraging to see folks plugging away at that $7 call wall, but we do want to close a bit higher, and above that, $8 or higher opens up 10 in terms of what we're looking at from the options.
Awesome, guys. So it does seem like we got some steam on Wolf.
And I agree with what 13's saying. We need more volume. Sorry, 13, go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. We were getting asked earlier about TTD, the trade desk. And while you were talking, yeah, because this did not have a great time. It's continuing lower, heading towards 51. We're currently at 51.17 and dropping. If we continue lower, we do have this low from April, from the Liberation Day unwind. That could be an area of support. That's going to be at 43. Let's say we don't get support there. The next area I see is going to be about 39. So between that $39 to $43 area could be the next area of support. But let's say that that's not going to hold it either. Where else could this go? This could end up still going into the 30s. I have a trend line I drew here a while back, and we did end up hitting it back on that Liberation Day unwind, so I know it's in play. And if we do not get this support from the range between 39 and 43, I think that we do end up testing this trend line again.
And we are hanging in the balance here because the put wall on this thing is 50. So if we break lower, those levels that 13 is talking about come right into play. And I've got to say, this is a hideous chart. Just absolutely horrible. And one of the things I really don't like about it is the perfectly clean rejection at the 50-week moving average. That's just disgusting.
Man, your disgust sounds so beautiful. It's funny.
I'm really, really disgusted by the chart right now.
It is awful.
We'll look at something else then.
But yeah, that's the where I'd be looking at there. For the downside in TTD. Not sure yet what's going to start turning this around, but we are at a very, very low RSI, so we could see some bounces as we go lower.
Fantastic, guys. So real quick, somebody did again ask like where I found my entry for Wolf earlier. So earlier, guys, I used the volume profile. So So anchored volume profile, and I placed it right where our trend started. So this is where our volume started to pick up. This is where our trend began. Put our volume profile there. Now this green level I had marked out, you see how right now it seems like the volume is smooth? Before we had this candle right here, this volume shelf was a very low shelf. It dipped very low. It was only about 80,000 volume versus 380,000 volume that it is right now. So because we were continuing higher, because our volume profile gave us higher volume to the upside, which means buyers are buying price at higher levels, we were looking to buy the dip, and that buy the dip would be in our low volume shelf. And that's how I found Wolf today, right? And we also, obviously, we found Wolf itself because it was on our pre-market playbook, our Benzinga Pro scanner. But then came my own analysis, volume analysis, and boom, that all lined up perfect.
And speaking of volume, it is 10:30 on the East Coast. So that means that folks are stepping away from their computer. We are seeing volume leave the market as people go and stuff their faces with lunch, talk about their trades. Yeah. Folks are going to come back later on in the day and we'll see the volume return. But for now, volume is getting lower and some of these trades may not have the follow through we're anticipating. So be careful.
I was going to say 10:30 is rolling around. That means 13 and Market Mayhem got it. I'm going to go grab a New York bagel and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right. Thank you for the mention that Trib is back open. We just popped up to new session highs and over the pre-market high. 259 is now the high. We are backing off from that level, and somebody is is walking it down here with their sell orders.
Damn, man, that is beautiful. Beautiful. What setups today.
Marcus, you are
SPX puts at the gap fill. Big Bear, be careful on SPX puts. Remember the analysis, the Greeks, the gamma levels. Apologize, not the gamma levels. Markets and Mayhem. What are the levels one more time?
Yeah, let me get the current picture, because right now actually it's getting better rather than worse. I'd be careful fading this thing. We've got a bullish fair value gap. We're pushing above that pivot level and starting to build some acceptance, and we still have call flow exceeding that of puts pretty markedly. So for me, this is not where I fade this thing. I know that it's tempting, and especially if one missed the move higher, you want to get that kind of like counter trade in. But for me, this is an uptrend, and it's most likely going to go to the pre-market highs, and it could even continue higher. If we look at the most active call strike implied level, what we're looking at right now in ES terms is going to be 6511.25. So that would imply that there's still a juicy amount of upside potential from here. I wouldn't want to short it unless it got up to that level. We saw some rejection and put flow started to build. Right now, this has the look of wanting to continue higher.
Edward, people are not eating lunch at 10:30, but they are getting up from their desks to go and leave their offices to go and meet up with people to go and have lunch.
Yeah. And it's important to note, like, if you look at the first hour and really the first half hour of trading, that's where the vast majority of AM volume comes in. Then we trail off until really the last hour, and particularly the last 20 minutes or so. So there's a whole lot of opportunity for folks that are just glued to their screens to get out, touch grass, do some other stuff, and execute when the market is more liquid, especially if you're a swing trader.
Absolutely. Guys, let's take a look at ES right now. So if we were looking for a position on the SPX, on the ES, on the SPY, I would really like to see a pullback towards that 64.75 area. We have a 15-minute fair value gap lining up there. I do believe we also had on ES 64.71 is a volume trigger on Markets and Mayhem's level as well. So we do have a lot of confluence at that 64.70-75 area.
Yeah, nothing about this chart has me wanting to fade it. Everything still looks pretty positive here. I'd want to see a rejection and a momentum reversal with flow starting to push towards puts. And it just, at least at this time, it is in the cards. Now, we could have a headline come out, and that could change everything. We've had that happen before. But for now, just based on the flow and the technicals, I'm still bullish on this tape today.
Awesome. Yep. Marcus mentioning PPI numbers, how he wasn't too pleased with the PPI numbers. Me neither. They came in very high. Inflation is not looking ideal at the moment. So we will see how markets want to react to that. First initial reaction was a dive to the downside. I think use our measurement tool. We sold off about Only 0.5%, 35 points on the ES, not the craziest move we've seen. It brought us to the bottom of our range, to a key level. We found support. Now we're making our way back to the high of the range, 64.95, right with that level that Markets and Mayhem mentioned earlier.
Webcoin, thank you for answering Joseph Schmo's question. The answer is correct. Almost never. These things hardly ever keep gains. They are absolute cash burners, biotech.
Yes. Yeah, they're cash furnaces.
Yeah. And then we also have Wolf approaching $8. That was also mentioned, I believe, from some folks in the chat that we were looking at 8. Now, we did mention this earlier about how heavy the float is on this one, and I think that's why we're not seeing these big outsized moves that some of these other movers this morning are having. Just too much shares to move around here versus like SNOA or for example, XPON. Which has a fraction of that, about 3 million shares, so much easier to move around. And it looks like XPON might make another push here to get up to that 565 area I was outlining earlier.
Yep, guys. Yeah.
I was just going to say with PPI, folks, the thing to really watch here is how does this get parsed throughout the supply chain? We know that producers are encountering higher prices, and this isn't new information. We've seen it in PMI data for services and manufacturing for many months. So we expected there would be some pass through. Now we're seeing that in PPI. And the key question is, how much of this is absorbed by companies so that they see margin compression, and how much of this is passed through to consumers and it shows up in things like CPI? That's going to be the next big question. And then the next part of that question is also the duration of acceleration of any inflation that happens. So we're still parsing this data, which is kind of the market right now is willing to look past it. You can see it's making up for most of that PPI gap down. So it's looking at this and saying, well, that's not ideal, but it doesn't confirm a trend yet.
I'd probably lean on the side that the companies, particularly the overseas ones that have a lot of inputs going into their the companies, economic inputs, so that it cheapens their products. I think those would be some of the earlier ones that would eat some of those tariffs.
And so that's going to be important for folks that are swing trading and investing, because if you do see that margin compression, it's going to show up in earnings and it won't be reacted to well. So that's something to just keep in mind as we get into next earnings season. It's certainly not going to be in this earnings season, which is at its tail end anyway. But as we get into Q3 earnings season, you may want to be focusing on that, particularly if we see more hot PPI prints and not so much on CPI.
Looks like we have XPON coming back in. Meanwhile, TRIB is rallying some more, making its way to 3. 315 is the next resistance area that I have in TRIB. Remember, we are past that 1030 mark. It looks like XPON already kind of feeling the effects of lower volume. So just keeping that in mind if we are going to try and trade any of these other movers that are having a good time right now, like TRIB. Just be careful.
Yeah, and watch TRIB at $3 too. You got about 31,000 shares on offer there.
Wow, look at that, man. TRIB running away. Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Great show today, guys. If you learned something, if you made some money today in the markets with us, make sure you drop a comment. Tell us what you traded, and drop a like button, guys. Share us around. Tell your friends. This is the best place to learn about the market, and it's the best place to learn and earn.
Absolutely. We appreciate Markets Mayhem coming on here today and hanging with us and having a great time. It's always great to have Markets and Mayhem on.
It's always great to be on with y'all.
That's great time. Were you gonna? I know we don't have any more this week, but you gonna come back on Happy Hour and join us again next week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This week has been just absolute madness. So I just haven't had time. I've been slammed, but it's awesome to be here, and I'll definitely be back on Happy Hour with the regular cadence as well.
Excellent. We love having you on there, man. You should join us too,
Kevin. With y'all. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, guys. Good stuff today, guys. Great overall trading performance, great overall market conditions. We see the ES hasn't been giving us a clean trend, but it did give us a clean range. I'm looking to make our way higher. The NASDAQ, same thing. NASDAQ most likely above that recent data high. It is. It's trying to make its way towards that 24,000 mark on NASDAQ, major level. Take a look at some of our equities too, like Meta, Amazon. We see equities are trying to move higher. We have Meta above 783. Netflix was one that people were mentioning earlier. Netflix, guys, right off of key level 1200,
Wow.
broke 1225. Now is at 1235. Nice. We got some NQ levels coming in from Mr. Markets and Mayhem himself. So let's take a look. Let's line them up with our analysis and find our best levels. Here's NASDAQ on the 15. We have our Market Mayhem levels over here. And let's see. So we have first level coming up is a pivot at 979. That's where we're right about to trade. That's right near our 2400. And we do have 24,000. You do have a 24,000 key cycle level there as well. So a lot of people are going to be looking at that price level on NASDAQ.
And overall, just like S&P, in fact, this one's showing relative strength versus S&P, as you mentioned, getting higher than where we were pre-PPI. So when you see that rotation into tech, and that's the momentum leader, that's another sign you really don't want to fade the market, because NASDAQ has been a leader for years. When it takes the reins, that usually gives you a sense there's going to be some continuation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, if you trade the S&P 500, it is beyond important to keep an eye on the NASDAQ as well. And also the VIX, Markets and Mayhem. I'm sure you use the VIX as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say that I like to look at the comparison between realized volatility and implied volatility as well over multiple timeframes to get a sense as to whether volatility is cheap or expensive. That can help with pricing hedging strategies.
Awesome.
Was taking a quick look at Netflix because we were talking about it, and it looked like it was having a great day. Seems to me like 1250 could be about an area where you might run into some resistance. We are over the 50-day SMA. Got to see a close above that if we're going to remain bullish, in my opinion. But 1250 does appear to be, at 1245, 1250 appears to be some bit of a resistance area. What do you got, Markets? Does that kind of stand out to you at all?
Yeah, I'm looking at 1250 as the wall of calls, and I'm just sharing that here. So Excellent. It lines up perfectly with the levels you're talking about. And then on the downside, a bit of a put wall around 1215. So 1250 would be a really nice area to break above on a closing basis. But with the size of that call wall, I'd be leaning into thinking we see some consolidation or rejection there first, then regroup and try to make a push.
Excellent. Hopefully that helps those folks out there looking at Netflix for some trades. Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's looking good, guys. Look at that, guys. Great walls, great information, great stuff, guys, live here on the Benzinga channel. Guys, if you're looking to get into trading, and you don't have enough capital, you're a little nervous on getting started, and you want to get into something like futures, I would definitely recommend getting started with something like a prop firm like Apex Trader Funding. This is a prop firm that we are personally partnered with here at Benzinga. They are, in my opinion, the #1 prop firm in the industry. You could use discount code. I use discount code Bullish Bears. That's the community I trade with, and you save 80% off for the next 2 weeks. So definitely look into grabbing some accounts. They're very cheap to get started. You purchase an account. Let's say you get a 50K account it's on sale for 80% off. So it's only $36 per month. You get a 50K account. If you pass it, you then get a funded account and you're able to take payouts off of it, right? So you're really risking very little of your own capital while being able to trade the firm's capital. But if you blow an eval, that's okay. You start right on over. So just a little bit of a tidbit for anybody that's looking to get into trading that's a bit newer in this industry.
Marcus, to answer your question, we some folks around here do like the penny stocks. We just typically don't take a look at them because they're usually not that great. With regard to the one that you're referring to, GraphJet, this one's about to go through a reverse split. So I don't really think that this is appealing at this stage to me. Because this is having to regain NASDAQ compliance, and they just approved a 1-for-60 share consolidation. So despite what other news this has coming out and where they're placed, I understand that this is a Malaysian, I guess, critical minerals extractor. It seems like I would just probably wait for that reverse split, and if I was going to even think about trading this. But that's just my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has one.
I do. I mean, I think the other thing about penny stocks you have to be careful about is if you're trading and you're using any kind of margin, they will consume your buying power. They're not marginable, so it's not really ideal to have those things for any period of time. And then also on the other side of it, they're so much easier to manipulate price up and down. Usually when you get a big move, some offer comes out of left field and absolutely crushes it. So duration of exposure should be super duper short if you are going to trade these things, in my opinion. I tend to hesitate.
It takes a particular I don't want to say set of skills, but temperament to successfully trade these. By the way, TRIB right up to that 315. We have a 316 print now, hitting that resistance area I was just talking about. We're getting a little bit of a back off now as the seller walks us down back underneath 3. I don't know if this is it or if this is still has room to go, but if there is going to be a move past 315, I'm looking at 350 as the next resistance area.
Yeah, and the micro trend on that looks healthy. You're continuing to see some aggression from buyers. I'm just looking at it through Bookmap, and they were able to take out that offer at $3. That is now becoming a bid. So overall, this one looking constructive for some potential continuation.
Awesome, guys. Profit target hit on Wolf. $8 was officially surpassed on Wolf. Big round of applause to you guys, anybody that took it. Hope you guys were able to take a nice gain on that. Very nice trade right there.
Great, slow-moving, heavy float stock that just had that slow grind up to the target. Well done, Tuna, with your Tuna AI. Well done, everybody else that took that trade.
That's awesome. Izzy, what's going on? Izzy mentioned Open, OPEN. Oh, wow. This one's been flying this morning, too.
Yeah, that's heavily shorted as well. So there's probably some squeezy action playing out.
I'm not a fan of the daily time frame. We haven't found any steady volume on the daily. Every time volume starts to portray that it's picking up, it fails. And we see that we're sort of barcoding, right? So like a barcode, because it goes red, green, red, green, red, green. Because, barcodes are black and white, and that's red and green too, apparently. But it's different. It's choppy is what we're looking at. Every time sellers try to bring us lower, we've been making lower lows, but then buyers step back in and pull us higher. We were making lower lows, and then we were even making lower highs at some point, right? Lower high, lower low, bear trend, and now it looks like we recently just broke that high. I wouldn't look to trade Open today. I would probably wait to see how Open closes today. And if it could close above 275, I'd be looking at it tomorrow for some trade setups, possible continuation.
Open door. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I was just going to say it's definitely going to need some volume to pick up here, though, on the daily for tomorrow to have some follow through.
Open door is one of those high short interest potential squeeze plays. Now, the flow on this is pretty big. So the fact that we're getting this kind of movement is notable. The problem that I have here, and it also did have a golden cross, but the problem I have here is that this isn't one of the greater platforms for real estate. I think that's being given to Rocket right now and some of the other ones. So it doesn't seem like this valuation is really justified with this stock right now. So I think this isn't one to chase. I wouldn't be chasing this at all.
And one thing to watch with caution is how the float keeps getting bigger. So if the thesis is short squeeze, what you don't want to see is shares continuing to get dumped in because that's bailing out shorts. So even though the overall level of short float has been increasing, the float continues to get bigger as if management is just dumping more and more shares on the market here. So I don't like it for that as well. That's going to make it tougher for it to realize a real squeeze.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, we do have ES is coming up near that price target 64.96 that we had. Me and Markets and Mayhem pointed this price level out a couple times today. Fantastic. Hopefully there was somebody in the comments mentioning that they were looking for some puts on SPX. Hopefully our analysis, our breakdown on it was able to keep you out of fading this market because we were finding some buying pressure. And we're getting there, guys. We are definitely getting there. Good stuff on that.
And learn with Moses. As far as charting the SQQQ, I mean, we can, the whole thing when it comes to the TQQ and SQQ trades, it has to be a certain price away from the VWAP. That's how the whole trade that Ryan and I have talked about has worked out. And for the SQQQ, you want to generally see the price to be about $1 to $1.15 away from VWAP before we start taking the trade. Alternatively, if you're playing the TQQQ, we prefer to have that be about $1.25 to $1.50 away from the VWAP before we get a trade. This isn't something that you want to just start picking up because it's having big moves down. We want some real extension away from the VWAP before we take that trade.
No. Yeah, I think that charting just QQQ is the best thing to do if you're looking at those vehicles to express your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, but for the volatility reversal trade, it tends to be that when Ryan and I were trading these, and we still do trade. We actually had a really good TQQQ trade, I believe, yesterday or the day before, probably the day before when we had that big green candle. But typically, when you get that kind of extension away from the VWAP, there tends to be a big reversal and a rally in the other direction.
Is SNOA still halted?
It's not showing as halted for me.
No, it's not. We're good.
Yeah, that's actually we just recaptured VWAP, and we're back up to the area where 6 is. So it's trying to recover, but not on the largest amount of volume. So a little bit of liquidity happening here.
I wonder if Wolf was able to surpass $8. All right, right now we're rejecting that $8.
Mm-hmm. And just keep in mind, folks, and Kevin, thanks for reminding me of this. We are past that time where volume leaves the market. We may not get the follow through in a lot of these that we were anticipating. So it's a great idea to not force anything right now. If you're still in something right now that's running, great. Yep. I'll leave it to you to manage that trade, but just keep in mind that we are struggling with some upside in these movers that we're having a great time earlier this morning.
Yep, absolutely. ONDS, we could take a look at ONDS if that one's still continuing. Look at ES, guys, a few points away. What's up, Robert? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're all having a great
Robert.
Happy Thursday.
Hey, no problem, Moses. Absolutely. Webcoin is mentioning BMRA wants to join the fun. Is it feeling left out?
It's feeling like a chop, man. I'd be careful on this one. Check our volume.
Got a bit of a trend line that we're breaking here. It starts in with the pre-market high and goes through the session high. We are breaking that trend line now. If we continue with volume expansion, this may have a shot at getting up to 450, but I'm just going to keep saying it. We are at that time where volume is not as present in the market as it was earlier. So be careful if you are trading anything.
Yeah, and with oh, sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
No, after you.
I was just going to say with BMRA, the other thing that's a big risk is this thing has a tiny float, and the only direction it's moving is expansion. So, and it's also not heavily shorted. So just if I was management in something like this, running a biotech or any of these medical device companies, largely they're cash furnaces as well, you're going to be looking at increasing offer risk with every tick higher.
Yep.
Awesome. Guys, we're one like away from 250 likes. That is fantastic. You guys have been what a wonderful audience. I'm so excited to be back with you guys again tomorrow for another great show. Keep hitting that like button. Show some love to the one and only 13 and the great Markets and Mayhem, our fantastic robotic friend over here with the best levels I've seen. Great stuff overall, guys. Appreciate you all. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Markets and Mayhem, do you have any social media plugs you would like to plug in?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if y'all want to give me a follow, always appreciate it. My handle is Mayhem 4 Markets, Mayhem 4 Markets on both X and YouTube.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And guys, you could follow us on social media is Benzinga. You could follow my personal Instagram where I post daily 30-second clips of whatever is going on in the market, whether it's updating you guys on PPI results, telling you where the gold might be trading at, whatever the case is. I like to make sure that you guys get the best information, quick and broken down simple. You could follow that at Trading with Kev.
Can I ask you guys a question about CoreWeave and maybe even the whole AI chip IPO play? It really does seem like we are going to have a date with 100 here, maybe even lower in CoreWeave. And we're starting to see a lot of these other IPOs starting to unwind. What is your opinion on these IPOs? You think we're going to see an acceleration towards some more downside before we start to see any kind of reversal?
So with CoreWeave, I think you're 100% right, and even the put wall's down there at 100 as well. So it kind of gives us a sense there's a lot of interest in hedging downside exposure to that level. The chart overall looks broken to me. It looks like it is starting to shift into a downward trend, especially with that break lower below the 20-day, making a pronounced lower high. Now we're just looking for a lower low below the August, late July lows. But in terms of the broader market, yeah, I do think it's likely we're going to see some de-risking here. These things are objectively extraordinarily frothy, and there are a lot of other places to park one's money. On the other side of it, I'd also say that we're coming away from bubbly summer seasonality. And a lot of this stuff gets a huge bid over summer, and then the reckoning comes late August into September through mid-October. And I think we're very much in the early stages of that. Some of it has to do with liquidity coming out. Some of it has to do with the start of the fiscal year for the government. But overall, liquidity pressure is to the downside here, especially in the more speculative areas.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you, Markets.
You got it.
Yeah, something like CoreWeave, guys, when it IPO'd, this is a company that NVIDIA was a investor in before it IPO'd, which means they were probably able to buy the company for less than whatever the price it IPO'd at, which it IPO'd at $38 a share. Then it continued to rally to highs, 379% return to about $187 a share. So NVIDIA's portfolio performed very well. We even talked about CoreWeave when it was stalling out here around 120 during NVIDIA's earnings, and this was earnings report not a week or two ago, but from the prior earnings, Q1. And I mentioned that this is the 80% of NVIDIA's portfolio was this company. And then it ended up continuing towards, I gave it a 150 price target. It blew right past that, made its way towards 180. That's a 45% return. That was from so here at Benzinga, we also cover the earnings calls for some large cap companies, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple. And in those calls, me and the great Paul Meeks, who's a tech investor for the past, I think, 30 years now, great experience with him. We go over the companies, we go over their ins and outs, their company roadmap, do some analysis, and it's a really great way to understand what's going on internally before the call.
Joseph Schmo, the difference this time possibly is the near certainty of a September rate cut. Well, I think that we need to kind of revisit that a little bit. And I still believe that our September rate cut is on the table. But took a look at the CME Group FedWatch tool this morning, and I noticed a little bit of a change from yesterday. There was absolutely no chance yesterday of rates holding. Today, there's now a 7.5 chance. There are opinions shifting towards the rates holding. So I don't think that kind of makes it, I guess near certainty is probably the right thing to say at this stage, but it seems to have a bit of an opinion change after this PPI report.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see the follow through, guys, from the PPI report. We got to see if we have any other economic news coming out too. Tomorrow's Friday. We have retail sales month over month, and we also have Michigan consumer sentiment. That's a really big one, guys. That's one of the few reports that actually happened during the New York session open. So that's going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Be live here with me and 13 tomorrow, guys. We'll see how the market wants to react to Michigan consumer sentiment.
Looks like Trib is still trying to get some volume here to push up to that 315 and through it, but see that we have some sellers pulling it back down. Again, one more time, that the volume in this market is not around where it was in the beginning. It's probably going to be better later. We have seen a lot of these movers have some better movement later on in the afternoon when people returned to their desks. So perhaps there's some better trading here with some of these movers, but for now, please be careful. Please, protect yourself to the downside.
Absolutely, guys. Any questions in the comments? Please feel free to let us know. But definitely, if you haven't already, drop a like. Show some love for 13. Show some love for markets. Show some love to me. Show some love to Benzinga, show some love to yourself. This has been a fantastic stream. We had some amazing call outs, some great price action today, and some great education in it as well. Market, do you have any, I believe we wrap up at 11, right? Do we have any last minute remarks you have any, Market?
Yeah, I would just say we just saw a pretty big stop out from sellers in S&P futures right around that key level we had talked about. We're seeing some continuation of the downside on reasonable volume here. So caution warranted doesn't mean the trend is over for the upside we've seen today, but we are seeing some selling pressure coming in, and we're getting down to that hot call point of control confluence level around 64.82, 64.81. So I would just say, like everyone else is saying, volume's dropping off. The character's changing a little bit here. We may be due for chopatility for a bit as we get into the afternoon. So appreciate everyone tuning in out there. I'll be back here soon, so stay tuned and definitely check them out tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of new opportunities. And with every day, for people that are feeling FOMO, I missed this, I missed that, remember, there's a new opportunity. Be patient.
Beautiful, man.
Excellent.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. That is great. That's right. That's funny. I said I was hosting Futures Fever yesterday, a futures show here on Benzinga, and something I mentioned was we want to live to trade another day. We want our accounts to be okay to trade for tomorrow. We don't want to blow our account in a single day when tomorrow presents new opportunities. If today wasn't giving us a good setup, if today wasn't speaking to us the way the market usually does in our system, then guess what? There's always tomorrow, but there's not always tomorrow if you FOMO and you keep jumping into trades today.
Yep. And at that stage, it's my turn to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Wonderful time spent with you, Kevin and Marcus. Love having you guys around. Love trading with you. Love talking with you. Hopefully, we'll get some more of that. I will be back here tomorrow with Kevin. Folks in the chat, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Absolutely, guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Thank you, 13. Thank you, Mark.